people fawning. He may not realize he's senile.
Mails at 314-944-1120. You can leave us a voicemail anytime you want to, and we certainly appreciate those. I don't know what Joe Biden knows about himself. I have no idea. I don't know if he's aware that he's not what he used to be. I imagine that he is aware. I think he just legitimately believes that because he's accomplished so much over the course of a career, and despite what a lot of people think, I completely disagree that the presidency has been a disaster. I'm sorry. I don't believe that. You can have criticisms of it, and there are some valid criticisms of it, but every single presidency has valid criticisms that are warranted. What I think, though, is because he's taken into account the body of work, he honestly still believes that he can do the job better than just about anybody else right now.
And I think to the caller's point, he's in an echo chamber of those whose sole job is to kiss his butt and never cross him. Like Jill Biden.
I think he's listening to his family.
Ron Klain. Well, no, that's what I mean. His family.
Well, his family doesn't have to kiss his ass. They can tell him what they think.
Well, who's going to say, Dad, Joe, you need to not be president anymore at great detriment to their own relevance. Again, it's cynical, but you know what? Power is captivating. It is power, sex and power are the two things that have ruined every man for the history of mankind. Yeah. Hunter obviously needs his dad. I don't think Hunter's telling him anything. Jill, I think, really enjoys the job. And here's the thing. His closest circle that would involve those like Ron Klain, it's like 6-7 people. They are probably telling him, you are the only one who can do the job. We need you. Look at what you've done. And again, when you look forward to what can Joe Biden do, the question is not, well, is his resume good? No one's questioning his resume. They're questioning his current capability in the very same way that you would question, like I said yesterday, they said on the Glover show, Michael Jordan, no one's questioning his resume. What they are saying is he's in his 60s now or whatever he is. You don't want him taking the last shot.
Well, I would say this, I would use a sports analogy for this, like you're using, but it would be Albert Pujols is absolutely a Hall of Famer, and he put up a career that is one of the greatest careers of all time. You would not give him a $300 million contract right now.
Yeah.
Because that time is over. You're not paying him for what he's done. And I think that that's a very valid thought that people have, because that's what you're looking for the future. You can absolutely commend all of the things that have been accomplished here, but realize that maybe this isn't the best path forward for us. Now, to me, I think what should have probably happened is foresight, is let's not wait until the condition gets to the point where it's so bad and so blatantly obvious that we can't move forward with it. Let's get out in front of it. Let's, back in November, December last year, let's say, look, I did this. I accomplished all of these things. I helped lead us out of a pandemic. I have our inflation lower than any other country in the world. It's time for me to step aside. And now we're going to move forward with the process of selecting somebody to success me, and I'll be part of that. To succeed me. I'll be part of that. In hindsight, obviously, it's what should have happened.
Yeah, and he's not going to. And I agree with the caller that I don't think the people around him, at least those closest right now, are not pushing for that hard enough. And I agree. I would not say Joe Biden's presidency was
he's stubborn, though, Amy.
Oh, he is. No, he's famously stubborn.
Maybe privately they are.
But, well, yeah, maybe
that's what
privately
I'm saying. Maybe
they
privately
are.
They're telling him like Joe.
He is famously stubborn. When you talk to politicians who have talked to him, not in the past 10 years, I'm talking 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 20 years ago, he is famously obstinate. So you are right. Maybe they are telling him to step down, and he is absolutely refusing. And I will say this, his presidency, I do not see it as a disaster. I do think there were disastrous moments like Afghanistan.
Sure.
And
I think you could say that about every presidency.
The border is a huge issue that concerns me. So don't get me wrong. I don't want Joe Biden's policies, but I also, more than that, do not want Donald Trump and what he stands for in breaking down the cornerstones of our constitutional republic, of our democracy. So I really want the Democrats to get their act together.
Well,
get your act together.
It's not looking great.
Not looking great.
Still 4 months to go. We'll see what happens.
That's a long 4 months.
I'm looking out the window right now and I see rain.
Well, it's not raining hard enough.
It's raining. I don't know how long this is going to happen, but I know that there have been some really bad storms around the country, and Hurricane Beryl made landfall a couple of days ago. We're going to talk about that and some other weather phenomena with AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg?
Question mark?
On KMOX.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Your best friend deserves the best care. That's why your pet needs regular checkups and preventatives so they can keep running, playing, snuggling, and being part of your family. Your pet won't tell you when something is wrong, so the veterinarians at the Animal Medical Center of Mid-America are here to help. They provide comprehensive, compassionate care in a fear-free setting. Give your best friends the care they deserve. Go to amcma.org or 314-951-1534 to schedule a visit today.
Do you feel like you're going through life clouded by doubt? Talk to California Psychics. Our trusted and accurate psychics are available 24/7. And we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Download the app or connect with us at CaliforniaPsychics.com. Right now, new customers get 80% off their first reading. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
If you're trying to sell a home, there's only one agent in town that I trust, Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty. My friends Mark and Neil have the best system, options, and strategies to connect you to the best qualified buyers, getting your home sold fast and for top dollar. Go to thegelmanteam.com.
Summertime is the best time to enjoy the outdoors and enhance the appearance of your home. Banner Construction can make your home the showplace of the neighborhood with maintenance-free James Hardy siding and beautiful Pella replacement windows. Drive up to your home with a renewed pride. Visit bannerconstruction.com or call 314-569-1050. Get a free in-home design and estimate. Call 314-569-1050 and have a banner day. 314-569-1050.
At 10:30, we've got rain and 70 downtown at the Arch. And this is the day after in Texas. Don Murta in Richmond is among the homeowners cleaning up from Hurricane Beryl.
Just driving through the neighborhood, it looks like everybody got a little bit of it. So it's just one of those things in nature you got to deal with, right?
Now, Tropical Storm Beryl is bearing down in the St. Louis region with additional flooding expected today. We've got more on that coming up at the top of the hour. They've just cleared some debris on 44 going west at 270 north. There is a crash on 44 west at 6440. Right two lanes are closed and the right shoulder as well. And that forecast from AccuWeather, a flood watch through late tonight. Heavy rain at times this afternoon. Watch for flooding. High 76 for tonight. Breezy conditions with rain from the tropical storm early. And still flooding risks. Humid late tonight, low 66. For tomorrow, a mix of sun and clouds with a shower in spots and a high temperature of 87. Right now, it's raining and 70 downtown. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Sponsored by Design Air, St. Louis's leading air conditioning repair service. Hey, this is Charlie Brennan. You know, this is the perfect time to make sure your air conditioner is ready for what could be a brutal summer. Do what my wife Beth and I do. Contact Design Air at designairservice.com.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app. And never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDAC.
spots in your lawn, backfill that new retaining wall, or mulch your trees and flower beds, St. Louis Composting has the compost, soil, or mulch you need to help your plants and garden look its very best. Visit our website, stlcompost.com, for more information.
I'm Tom Ackerman with this month's Siteman Cancer Center Spotlight, and we are focusing on mental health. Joining me is Dr. Jessica Vanderland, psychologist with Siteman.
Anxiety, depression, PTSD, general distress, insomnia, a lot of fatigue related to cancer, and sometimes body image concerns. All of these are more frequently experienced in a cancer population than in the general population.
Special thanks to Siteman Cancer Center, national leaders in cancer. For more information, go to siteman.wustl.edu.
Summer is here, which means pool days, beach trips, and yeah, you guessed it, traffic jams. Oh yeah, and heat waves. Don't let summer catch you by surprise. Get the local news you need, no matter what you're up to, with the free Odyssey app, and never miss a beat with alerts on breaking stories sent directly to your phone. Listen today on the free Odyssey app. That's AUDACY.
Transforming airwaves into an engaging playground of ideas and entertainment. It's the Chris and Amy Show on KMOX.
Raindrops are falling on my head, and just like the guy whose feet are too big for his bed.
Chris and Amy Show on KMOX, and it is raining. If you're looking out the window, you can see that is happening right now, and this is the tropical storm Beryl has made its way toward us. I believe that's what's going on. To find out if that is exactly what it is and how long this is going to last, also some other weather-related stuff we want to get to with Joe Lundberg, AccuWeather meteorologist, who joins us on the Quiver River Electric guest line. Good morning, Joe.
Good morning, Chris. Good morning, Amy. First time I remember hearing this song, I was a kid, and it was snowing outside. And I said, why are they playing this song when it's snowing outside?
Well, because that's a great question.
And that's why you became a meteorologist, is to right the wrongs.
It probably had something to do with it, I'm sure.
And to say you should never be allowed to play this song unless it is only raining.
That's right.
So this is Tropical Storm Beryl, yes?
Formerly,
is that what this is?
Formerly known as Hurricane Beryl.
That is correct. Now, I think a tropical depression. In fact, by now it may even be classified as a post-tropical storm. We're going to call it a tropical rainstorm because the air mass is tropical in nature, and it's raining, and it's going to rain pretty hard at times for the rest of today and the early part of tonight. The center of low pressure is just past Little Rock, Arkansas, and it's moving northeast. Wind is kind of turned around into the northwest of Little Rock. That's a sign that the system is moving by. But as the storm cuts to our south and east, we're going to get into this band of pretty steady and pretty heavy rain, and it's going to sit there for several hours, and we could easily get 1 to 3 inches, sometimes some localized amounts of 4 inches of rain over the next 8 to 12 hours because of this intense band of rain just sitting over the same area and just raining and raining and raining.
So what you're saying is we're going to get walloped. It's not just barely going to hit us.
Oh, that's very good. I like it. Nice one. Yes.
Joe, if you want to hang up, it's...
No. I like it. I like good humor like that. That's good.
Oh,
thank you, Joe.
But you're welcome. I'm a full supporter of that kind of humor. No, this is going to wallop us. There's no question about it. And the problem I see with this is that not only is it this rain, but remember just a few days ago, we had 2 to 4, in some cases over 6 inches of rain at the end of last week. So there's already too much water on the playing field. There's no place to put this. And when so much comes down in such a short period of time, it's going to lead to widespread flooding. The rivers are already running very high. This is only going to put more water in those waterways, and it's going to take seemingly forever for this stuff to go away.
Yeah, so I know the flood warnings and flood watches keep getting extended. So what are we looking at here in the St. Louis area in terms of flooding and how bad it could get?
Right now, we're just looking at the flood watch. The only flood warning I see is out to the north and west, north of Columbia and proper. And there was a band that just kind of set up there of intense rain overnight and early this morning, and they got 2 or 3 inches of rain in a short period of time there. Still raining very hard, and that's probably going to be extended, if not expanded. But elsewhere around the area, at the moment, we don't have any flood warnings. I suspect that in a northeast to southwest oriented band right through the heart of St. Louis, we're going to be seeing that. Those flood warnings starting to be issued here as we go into the afternoon hours.
And then it sounds like you were saying just rain. We're not looking at any tornadic activity or severe thunderstorms.
No, it does not look like that. I think that kind of activity is going to be well to the south and east. Really, from where the center crosses over, like Cape Girardeau and points north and east over toward Evansville, Indiana, that area, that corridor, I think is ripe for some severe weather and tornadic activity. This has had a history of producing tornadoes down in parts of East Texas and Louisiana. And quite typically, you go to the south and east of the track of these things, and that's where you find that kind of activity. And those areas are in that location.
So the Cardinals play a baseball game tonight. They start at 6:45. What's that going to look like?
Not pretty. I'd be surprised if they can get that one in just simply because of how much rain is going to fall between now and then. The rain may be tapering off not long after the projected game time, but there's going to be a lot of water that they're going to have to remove, and I wouldn't be surprised if that game has to get pushed back to some later time frame in order to be played, like not tonight.
I know they're always willing to wait if they can, so just wondering how long they would have to wait if that's going to happen. So for people going to the game tonight, like I have tickets, should they just plan on being there or not?
I would not plan on being there. I just think there's going to be too much water all over the place.
Okay.
There may be flooding for people trying to get down to the ballpark, impeding their progress on area roadways. So that would be my concern.
Joe, when it comes to flooding, which is worse, a heavy rain system that sits over an area like this on top of already wet ground, or like snow melts in other parts of the area or even in other states like we saw in 93? Because I keep looking at different areas that have been flooding, and it's almost like the snow melt is so damaging as well.
It can be, and it depends on how deep the snow cover is, how fast it melts, how much water how much water's in that snowpack. I mean, you may have a foot of snow on the ground, but it's like a powdery snow. If that melts away pretty quickly, you're not going to get much water out of it. But if it's a heavy, wet, moisture-laden snowfall, and there's a lot of water in that snowpack, all of a sudden you warm up with temperatures into the 50s and you get an inch or two of rain on top of that, you're releasing a tremendous amount of water in a short period of time, and that can cause some widespread flooding. You see that type of thing more commonly up in the Northeast than we do here.
So this storm that has finally reached us, I was hearing things like once it made its way toward Houston, that it was I don't know. They're very unusual for this time of year to even have something like that, or there was something historic about it, or am I mishearing?
I'm not sure exactly what was historical about it, other than the sense that it was a major hurricane for a point of time, and then it weakened. But to see something of this nature at this early part of the season is a little unusual. But we do see hurricanes strike the Texas coastline in the month of July. It's not a common thing, but they do happen. The interesting thing about this is that if you looked at some of the computer forecasts last week, well in advance of this, some of them were taking this thing almost due west across the Yucatan through the southwest Gulf and into Mexico, and it would never even get close to this. But with each passing day, the forecast track turned this thing more to the northwest and north, and that's why we're now seeing the rain from it that a week ago we probably didn't have in the forecast, to be quite honest with you.
Joe, from rain to heat, what in the world is going on out west where in Death Valley, I think it was 700 degrees. I think it was 129, but 700 degrees in Death Valley. I think Ranj sent me a screenshot from Las Vegas.
Las Vegas was 120. Palm Springs was 124.
How unusual is this?
Yeah, Palm Springs 124.
Wow.
They eclipsed their old all-time record of 123. And that was set multiple times. I was just looking at the record books. The most recent year that occurred was 2021, but it's happened in 1993 and other years. Las Vegas 120. Their old all-time record was 117. This has been an inferno in the west. A big upper-level ridge of high pressure has just produced this incredible heat across all of the west. It's not going to break down tremendously anytime soon. So the west is still going to be very hot and dry, although it looks like in California you may get a little bit of relief from a system coming up from the eastern Pacific. It may not rain, but it may just dent the heat. And instead of being 115, it might be 105 to 110. It's still going to be brutally hot, though.
So when are we going to start getting that garbage heat?
That's a great question. I think we have to get rid of the rain first. Now, I do see us getting hotter as we go into the weekend. Looks like some 90-degree heat could get here as early as Saturday and probably on Sunday and Monday, and that may very well last into Tuesday. I do see another cold front trying to come down from the north and west. We're going to get a glancing blow of it, but maybe that'll trim back some of the heat for the second half of next week, but we may do it at the price of some rain, although I think, if it's just scattered showers, I'm willing to take that as opposed to torrential rains like we're seeing now.
What about and we talked about this, I think a couple of weeks ago. We see these weather phenomena happening here in the United States. We were seeing extreme heat in India. We are seeing currently snowmelt in Switzerland, where like the town of Zermatt has just been, flooded extensively. All of these different phenomenon, is that normal for them all to happen at the same time? Are they related? Are they unrelated?
They're related. Sometimes there's a term that we use in the weather industry called teleconnections, and it's basically, what you see in one part of the world often will teleconnect or give you an idea of what's going to happen in another part of the world. Like, for example, when we see typhoons recurving in the Western Pacific, quite often that's a result of an upper-level trough of low pressure that's swinging through Eastern Asia. And we've known that sometime about a week to 10 days down the road, you're almost always going to see a similar trough coming up in the eastern half of the United States. It may not be the exact location, but 9 times out of 10, if you see that happening there, you see it happening in the east down the road. So these things are somewhat interrelated. So to see heat in one part of the world often will translate somewhere down the road to heat in another part of the world, simply because of that teleconnection process.
AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg, we appreciate your information and your time as always. Thanks for talking with us today.
You're quite welcome. Stay dry and be safe out there today.
Thank you, Joe. We appreciate it. Joe Lundberg with us on KMOX. I got to tell you, Amy, I am not looking forward to the summer.
Well, it is summer, though.
I mean, like the summer. You know what I'm talking about, when it's gross.
Yeah, but don't you feel like it's already been gross? Don't you feel like it's felt like summer?
No, you know what it feels like?
What?
Every time it's hot, it's been hot in the last couple of weeks, I think it's going to get so much worse than this. That's what I think. Yes. Yeah.
I think
it's going to be so much hotter.
I think I'm broken because
it hasn't been disgustingly humid aside from a couple of days.
I think I'm broken because I don't mind the sweating and the heat in the morning. Like, I kind of like it. It makes you feel... You know how when we walk outside the studio and it's 7 degrees outside, Ron always goes, makes you feel alive.
Alive.
That's what he says.
It's brisk.
Yes, it's brisk. That's why he likes Chicago, because you got the buildings which create the wind, and then it's cold.
Well, I don't know if I like the wind tunnels.
Well, you get them.
That's not good.
Makes you feel alive. And that's what I tell myself. But there's something about like going outside and you're either working out in the yard or you're playing tennis or running, and you just feel like you've sweated out all the gunk, and you're like,
Okay, that's great. But what if you're in clothing and you're out for the day? You're not going out to play tennis or work in the yard. You're going to work. You're going to, a party or something. And then you're gross as soon as you step outside. That's not good.
I mean, where you go is air conditioned most of the time. You have to bring a sweater.
What if it's an outside party?
You're going to have to take off that half zip that you always wear.
Well, I wouldn't wear this outdoors. Even in short sleeves, it sucks,
Yeah. I will say...
Here's what I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I have friends, man friends, who will refuse to wear shorts no matter what.
Really?
Yeah.
Shorts? Because there are the opposite end of that
always
is
pants.
The opposite of that is the always shorts guy when it's 7 degrees.
I know that guy too.
And they go to Deerbergs and it's like 7 degrees outside and they're in shorts.
No.
Usually down to their knees, like below their knees. Always shorts guy.
Yeah. I got a friend in Chicago who does that, and I think he's doing it now to prove a point. But if it's 10 degrees, he will have shorts on.
And I will say this about the heat, because they think, how do you run in the heat? I can tell you, 100%, it is easier to run in the heat than it is to sit in the sun at Busch Stadium. That gets pretty hot.
That's not great.
Yeah, why is that? If you said you can sit in the sun
because the air's not moving,
Busch Stadium for an hour or run, I think you create your own airflow.
That's right.
You can really bake.
I love the fall. I love walking outdoors and a cold breeze smacks you in the face.
We're almost there.
God, I love that. No, we're not.
We're almost there.
We're almost to the gross part.
Hope is like the sun.
It's about to be in St. Louis.
Something about, You have to believe in it when you don't see it.
Okay.
I don't know. I learned that in Star Wars. Leia said it.
Wow. That's Amy Marks Cores. I'm Chris Ranji. Good Lord. It's KMOX.
Well, Ranj is letting the heat ruin his summer. He's going to go get some hot coffee, but here's what you don't want. You don't want moles ruining your summer. The heat, Rottler Pest Control, they can't do anything about the heat, but they can do something about those moles that are tearing up your yard. And my guess is, if you're like me and Mason Jar, your yard looks pretty good right now because we've had all this rain that we've talked about, so it's pretty green. And so the last thing you want is a pest digging tunnels, killing the grass, making your nice yard look messy. Rottler offers the most advanced and highly effective mole elimination programs available. So it's a year-round program that includes warranted protection all year, non-invasive exterior treatments, which means you don't even have to be home for Rottler to do the service, and no charge per mole. It's a fixed budget for the year, so you know exactly what you're going to pay up front, and they take care of it. And that's a nice assurance to have, especially from a company like Rottler. That's a third-generation company and the largest family-owned pest control company in Missouri. Call them today, 877-ROTTLER or rottler.com.
Broadcasting from the Underlaw Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
For eligible individuals, 18 and older only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With Jabra Enhanced Selects Premium Package, better hearing doesn't happen in a doctor's office. It happens at home, all done remotely from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better. You get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional support you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week, no charge. Oh, you people are wonderful. Our premium package includes hearing aids, 3 years of follow-up care, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage, and a 100-day money-back guarantee. I hear better than I ever thought possible. Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to JabraEnhance.com/try. That's JABRA Enhance.com/try. JabraEnhance.com/try.
Enjoy rounds of golf with friends this summer courtesy of KMOX and Cutwater. Real cocktails perfectly mixed. Now through July 14th, head to your local Schnucks, Deerbergs, or liquor store. Look for the Cutwater display and scan the QR code to get entered for a chance to win 6 rounds of golf at area courses from Walters Golf Management. You and your friends could hit the links at courses like Gateway National Golf Links, Stonewolf, Far Oaks, and more. No purchase necessary. Open to Missouri residents 21 or older. Details and rules at KMOX.com/contests.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
1-800-GOT-JUNK recycles because it conserves our natural resources.
We donate the donatables so they can be loved and used by another family.
Recycling saves us money. The less we take to the landfill, the more we save.
It also saves you money. Spending less on landfills helps keep our prices low.
People love to see a win-win scenario, but we've created a win-win-win-win scenario.
We make junk disappear.
All you have to do is point.
Call 1-800-GOT-JUNK
or visit 1-800-GOT-JUNK.com.
If you have a problem with the IRS, believe me, it's not going away on its own. The IRS never gives up. They have endless resources, so they control the game. Well, your tax problems can end. I'm attorney Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm, a local tax resolution firm with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. I've handled thousands of IRS cases over the last 15 years. So when you you hire me, you won't be speaking long distance or sending money to some TV pitchman that's riddled with consumer complaints. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it will cost. So call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com. If you have IRS issues, you need a local attorney, you need me, Lance Drury.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
McKelvey Homes waterfront at Wild Horse Village in Chesterfield is selling fast. With just 3 open home sites and 2 quick move-in homes available, you don't want to miss your chance to live in this unique community. Visit McKelveyHomes.com for more information.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. For over 35 years, we've grown by offering our clients more offices, more lawyers, and recovering more than $20 billion. Injured? The choice is easy. Morgan & Morgan. Visit forthepeople.com for an office near you.
Don't let a cold, sinus infection, or allergies ruin your day. Breathe easier, sleep better, and feel healthier with Navage. Visit Navage.com, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, or a store near you.
Your passport into a world of wit and wisdom and a splash of humor. Chris and Amy on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Did you see that thing? I can't believe it. Something is obviously wrong.
This is a joke, right?
Are you freaking kidding me? No way!
You gotta be kidding me. Don't feel bad. There's no way you could have known that.
Now, did you see this with Chris and Amy?
Ron, life is an enigma because you hear, oh, we want tourists, we need tourism. Oh, we don't want tourists. Well, in Barcelona, they're in the latter category.
In Barcelona.
Yeah. The residents, the locals of Barcelona, took out their squirt guns over the weekend to squirt tourists with water to say, get out of our neighborhood. They chanted, tourists go home. And they were squirting people with water while those people ate outside at the restaurants. So apparently Barcelona has been struggling with the impact of tourism, especially on the local economy. It sounds like a good thing, but what it is doing, they say, is it's driving up the cost of rent and the cost of home prices. And so the city's mayor did announce a plan to end short-term apartment rental licenses for about 10,000 apartments. But in other areas like Copenhagen, which I would think a lot of people would go to Copenhagen, they want tourists. So they're offering free activity passes and free meal vouchers to tourists if they take part in like pro-sustainability activities, if they use the train or they help clean up trash. They just want tourists to be part of taking care of the city.
I don't think it's about not wanting tourists, but it absolutely makes sense that there's a limit. You want tourism, you don't want too much. There can be a point where it's just way too many tourists.
And to me, it
and
sounds like the focus is on the short-term rentals. Because if tourists are staying at hotels, that's a natural cap.
Correct.
It's a natural cap, and also locals don't stay in hotels.
Right.
But if they're starting to use short-term rentals and apartment buildings, they're being snatched up by larger companies or even people renting them out, then that becomes an issue.
Amy, did you see that Gladiator 2 is happening? The movie Gladiator 2.
Is that the Are You Not Entertained?
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
The movie from 2000, so it's 24 years old. Good Lord. That movie is so old.
Yeah.
And the trailer for it came out today. It features Paul Mescal. And I don't know if I'm that familiar with him, but Pedro Pascal. Everybody knows Pedro.
But who's the first guy?
Paul Mescal.
Paul Mescal and Pedro Pascal.
Very confusing.
Okay.
But yeah, they are the two prominent people in the film. Mescal plays a grown-up Lucius.
Oh.
If you remember, Lucius was the nephew of Commodus, who was Joaquin Phoenix in the first movie. So the Gladiator trailer is out. It does not come out until the fall. So I am looking forward to this one. I cannot wait. I'm very excited about it.
New York Magazine has a list of really interesting NDAs. I won't have time to get through all of them, but here's one. An NDA prevented Ethan Hawke from telling his teenage daughters that he had a cameo in Taylor Swift's Fortnite music video.
Oh.
David Bowie's divorce NDA ended after 10 years, at which point his ex-wife Angela went on TV and said she was not free to let the world know she had walked in on Bowie in bed with Mick Jagger.
Oh! What?
I know. Pete Davidson required the audience at one of his 2019 stand-up shows to sign an NDA, which came with a $1 million penalty for offering any opinions or critiques of the show.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, pretty interesting, a list of NDAs.
I've been to a Jack White concert, and they make you put your phone in a bag.
Sure.
Is that the same thing as an NDA?
No.
Because I can't disclose anything with my phone during the show. Yeah. When we come back, Scott McFarland from CBS News will join us. Man, is there a lot going on. Congressional Democrats meeting today. We will talk about that and other items with him. The Senator Bob Menendez trial. All of this stuff coming up on KMOX.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
Today, we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission, to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/value and unlock 50% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR St. Louis.
The legendary voice of St. Louis, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-403-5569 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-403-5569. That's 800-403-5569. What do you have to lose? Call 800-403-5569. Again, 800-403-5569.
Local news and information direct to your smart speaker. Just say, play KMOX.
I'm Dave Glover, and I see clearly now thanks to the doctors, Dr. Greg Birdie, Ranjan Malhotra, Robert Brusati, Andy Royer, and Samuel Berry. You can too. Just go to youridoc.com.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 11 o'clock, we've got rain. It's 71 degrees downtown at the Arch. Our top story this hour, rain, and more rain is rising rivers.
Tropical storm Beryl is barreling through the region.
Flash flooding is a major concern. We've had quite a bit of rain recently.
Meteorologist Matt Beitcher with the National Weather Service in St. Louis says some areas could see upwards of 5 inches of rain.
A lot of our rivers are in at least minor flood, if not moderate flood. And a lot of the smaller rivers like the Merrimack, the Big River, the Black Burbus River down in southeast Missouri, those are all expected to flood with this wave of rain.
Beitcher says one saving grace is that the rain to the north has calmed down a bit, so our rivers won't swell from that. Stuart McMillan, KMOX News.
Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell is testifying at a Senate hearing today on the state of the U.S. economy.
He said while the Fed has made considerable progress towards its goal of defeating the worst inflation spike in 4 decades.
Incoming data for the first quarter of this year did not support such greater confidence. The most recent inflation readings, however, have shown some modest further progress.
They're not ready to ease up on interest rates just yet.
More good data would strengthen our confidence that inflation is moving sustainably toward 2%.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
President Biden faces new questions about a doctor who specializes in Parkinson's disease who's visited the White House. CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes says the president's physician released a letter addressing this.
The letter, it's 2 pages. It's very detailed. And he basically says, yes, this neurologist did visit the White House, but he wasn't visiting the president. He was caring for other people.
House Speaker Mike Johnson.
It's important to the American people. They want to know if this has indeed been a cover-up all the way to the top, and it looks like it has been, and what the physicians know and have known and what they've reported and all the rest.
After a long 4th of July weekend with multiple shootings downtown and young people causing vandalism, St. Louis Police Chief Robert Tracy says parents have to be held responsible for their children out late breaking the law.
And you just saw on Saturday morning, we made a release where we released 3 kids, well, one with an air gun and 2 adults with firearms stopping traffic at 4:30 in the morning. And the mother came down and picked up the 2 nephews and went home with them. So these are the things that we got to take a look at.
The KMOX Business Desk, Samsung with a new watch.
Samsung plans to unveil a new health tracking feature that Apple Watches don't yet have. Set for a grand unveiling in Paris tomorrow, Samsung's new Galaxy Watch models will track the wearer's advanced glycation end products index, which may provide an indicator for metabolic health and biological age. Device makers are exploring health monitoring features as a way to attract and retain customers. Kimberly Adams, Bloomberg Radio.
The Dow from Stifel is down 22 points. We've got a crash on 70 going east at TR Hughes. That's in the center lane. Also a crash on 44 going westbound in the right lane at Memorial Drive. That's around the Arch downtown. Also, the exit ramp is closed 55 north to Rivas Barracks.
A flood watch through late tonight. Rain heavy at times this afternoon from tropical rainstorm Beryl will lead to some flooding. The high 76. Breezy tonight with rain from tropical rainstorm Beryl early. Lingering clouds late tonight, those 66. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on the voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning. Rain across the region, 71 Florissant and St. Peter's and 71 downtown. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
Some people were born with fire under their bum. That's a metaphor for hustle. And when it's hot outside and your inside's losing its cool, hustle is exactly what you need. So when things go 5-alarm at your place, phone Jerry Kelly, the company with hustle.
JerryKelly.com. The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. Brought to you by Together Credit Union. Check out their new Empower checking account and earn 5% interest on balances up to $25,000.
If you stay in and Trump is elected and everything you're warning about comes to pass, how will you feel in January?
I feel as long as I gave it my all and I did the goodest job as I know I can do. That's what this is about.
Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji on KMOX, and congressional Democrats meeting this morning, and to find out what has happened in that meeting and how things are looking at this very moment, we go to the Quiver River Electric guest line and we talk to a friend of the show, Scott McFarland, who is with CBS News, a congressional correspondent, joins us now on KMOX. Scott, good to talk to you.
Good to talk to you as well. I'm the only guy in Washington, D.C. Just happy the Cardinals beat the Nationals 6-0 last night.
Oh,
hey. Let's start with that.
6-0. Excellent. It feels good. Yes, and the Cardinals are in pretty good shape at the moment.
For now.
For now. All right. So, Scott, the Cardinals are in good shape. How are congressional Democrats? Are they in good shape? Because some of the reporting I'm seeing, very mixed.
Yeah, they're not on the same page right now. The House Democrats are splintered, potentially irrevocably splintered on whether the president should withdraw or not. They had a closed-door meeting this morning on Capitol Hill where cell phones were prohibited to try to limit the leaks, and people walked out of that meeting kind of in the same footsteps they walked in. where there's a group of devoted Biden loyalists, including much of the Congressional Black Caucus, saying this debate should end. The president's the man. We're going to stick with him till the end. He's going to win. There are defections, though, including some of the more powerful House Democrats, the top Democrats in some of the House committees, who say, no, this is a losing path we're headed down. We got to change course now, or it's destined to failure. And then there are all the others, and the others are potentially the most intriguing right now. All those who won't answer the question. And by not answering the question whether the president should stay, you're kind of answering part of the question, aren't you? That you're uncertain whether the president should stay on the ticket. And that's where the House is right now, completely off step with each other.
So does it seem in any way, Scott, like going in, any minds have been changed on the way out? Or are people just kind of where they were before the day started?
There's one mind seems to have changed. Jerry Nadler, who's the top Democrat on the House Judiciary Committee from New York, one of the veteran members of the House Democratic Caucus, over the weekend said on a conference call with his colleagues that maybe it's time for the president to withdraw. Today, coming out of the meeting, he goes, based on what the president's saying, he's not going to back down no matter what. Let's just back him. Let's stick with him. That's just one mind that seems to have changed. This meeting didn't do anything to clarify pretty much anything.
With some of these Democrats now stepping out, a handful saying, attaching their name to the call for Biden to step down. Is this the beginning of the outside of the concentric circles surrounding Joe Biden, the outside Democrats slowly pushing in on the inner circles, hoping that it reaches that inner circle? Or do you think there's also pressure on the inner circle privately for Biden to release his delegates before the convention?
That's a good question. I wish I had a satisfying answer, but here's what I can tell you with certainty. The president's efforts over the weekend and Monday morning bought him some time. He bought himself at least a few days here to try to further galvanize support. The one group that seems to be keeping its powder dry successfully is mostly the U.S. Senate, with a few exceptions, for the president's top surrogates in the Senate. Senate Democrats are not answering the question, should the president stay? They're instead saying, we need to hear more. We need to answer more of our questions. We need to reassure voters. We need more time to consider. The Senate Democrats have done a good job staying somewhat synchronized with each other in the purgatory of I don't know. And that preserves for them the ability maybe to employ a little bit of leverage later this week if something bounces one way or the other. They still have the president's ear. The president is a former senator. They're the ones with the closest relationships with the White House, and they're the ones not saying declaratively where they sit on this. So that's the variable that's out there right now, and that's the one I'm watching most closely.
From those who are ready to move on from Biden now, is there a comfort or at least a confidence that they can successfully, within about 3 or 4 months' time here, put together a campaign with a completely different candidate and build some momentum?
Oh, that group you just described, they have unbridled optimism about alternatives. They think that the floor of support right now is what President Biden has right now. That there's a baseline of anti-Trump voters out there that would line up and galvanize behind anybody else. That there's also good alternatives, including the vice president herself, who in some recent polling fares even better than the president in head-to-head matchups with Donald Trump. But it's getting there. It's the tricky part. These concerns about President Biden are transcendent among Democrats when they speak privately. They're just not articulating them publicly in a way that's going to affect change, at least not yet.
But what about that polling? Do they not see it, or do they believe that, and I'm talking about the administration and the people close to him, do they see it and think, well, this is just temporary and we're going to be able to rebound?
No, I think the polling is what's moving the meter most. I think the president has expressed skepticism about the polls, as his polls show the race is closer. I'm not sure everybody in Congress believes that. They're seeing their own polling. And I've talked to any number of members of Congress. Its polling looks awful in their districts compared to where it should be and where it needs to be. I think that's where this is part of where this skepticism is coming from, is people are seeing not just the polls that you and I read, which don't look good for the president, but they all do their own polling. They have to. They're politicians. They're running for office. They know their districts really well. I think it looks terrible on the home front. Not that President Biden's going to lose, very blue districts, but he's not doing as well there as he should be. And they're seeing that. I think that's infusing a lot of this, dump the president off the ticket campaign with energy. And I think it's why it's also not dead yet. I think more polling could come out, likely will come out post-debate, that shows things softening further. And I think that the president has to continue trying to shore up support in his own party. Even if he has it today, it doesn't mean he's going to have it Thursday or Friday or next week.
Scott, it does feel like the discussion surrounding the president, Joe Biden, or former President Trump seems to suck all the oxygen out of the room. But there is still legislation being brought forth in the House of Representatives. And there's a bill expected to be voted on next week. It is brought up by House Republicans, a Republican bill that would require proof of U.S. citizenship to vote in federal elections. Non-citizens voting has been a talking point for Republicans. Democrats are saying it's not an issue, and House Democrats are saying vote no on this bill. What do we know about the bill and the discussion on both sides of the aisle surrounding it?
And in fact, they're going to vote on it this week. That bill is next up in the queue. Next week is the Republican National Convention, so everybody's out of town for that. What do we know about the bill? It's a pure messaging bill that Republicans very much want to have. Going to fall right down party lines. Democrats are going to argue it's already illegal for non-citizens to vote in federal elections, and to have this bill is at best redundant, at worst politically craven. Republicans like this bill because it puts Democrats on the record in some way they can campaign on as not opposed to non-citizens voting. There's a lot of messaging bills going through the Democratic-controlled Senate and the Republican-controlled House. That's mostly what they're going to do between now and Election Day. Most of the must-pass stuff is already passed.
Speaking with Scott MacFarlane from CBS News, congressional correspondent, is with us now on KMOX, and Senator Bob Menendez in the midst of a trial right now. And the closing arguments have already happened. What's the timeline we're looking at now?
Yeah, there's going to be a few more hours of summations to come. I think that's happening today and tomorrow. The jury gets the case after that. It was a marathon trial. This thing lasted like 2 months. They had a lot of witnesses. So it's a fool's errand to try to guess how long a jury is going to take. It's not beyond the realm of possibility, though, that they have this verdict by the end of the day Friday, as juries often do. And this would be a sitting U.S. senator, if convicted, of a major set of felonies, and throws a little more chum in the waters for Republicans in a campaign in which they already seem to be surging.
It is a bribery case here. If he is convicted of this, what happens next? What do Democrats do? What does he do?
It may add pressure for him to resign, although he seems to be, dug in pretty deep, saying this case is bogus and that he, is going to beat the rapid trial. But I mean, there's a bunch of other variables, right? I mean, there's a Senate race to succeed him. He wants to get in if he's found not guilty. And it's maybe more competitive than it should be in a relatively blue state. There have been aspirations by Republicans that New Jersey is actually in play now in the general election for Donald Trump because of the weakness of President Biden. Maybe that adds more fuel to that fire. But also, it could cost Democrats a vote in a Senate that they have the narrowest of margins. There's all kinds of political implications of this beyond the legal implications for the senator.
Scott, if I may ask, from a media standpoint, there have been a lot of questions surrounding the media and the Biden administration. We saw the stories break that some interviewers were given questions by the administration, and then that interviewer would approve the questions, and those would be the questions asked. We've also heard about this administration's reluctance to make the president available to the press without, again, approved questions. How unusual in your experience has been what I would call the lack of access to the president been in this administration compared to previous administrations?
I think it's an absolute catalyst to some of these concerns you're hearing about the president, that he's being closely guarded, that he's being handled with kid gloves. And I think that's infusing this whole idea that he's not up for another 4 years with more energy. I think there'd also be a number of former White House press officials of different administrations saying it's common for us to guard the president closely and not just put him out there anytime, anywhere. I think this is going to be litigated over the next few months. I think the media scrutiny is only going to ratchet up on President Biden, including how unscripted, unguarded, and how much access is given by him and to him. And That's going to be a factor in moving forward between now and November, and they're going to have to balance it at the White House. They're going to have to find some way of answering these questions if they want to turn around a race they appear to be losing on all fronts.
Congressional correspondent Scott MacFarlane, appreciate it as always. You're the best. Thank you for visiting with us today. Scott MacFarlane, CBS News, joining us here on KMOX. He is very good. He's the best. Good. All right. So Amy has a problem with you people booing at sporting events.
No, it wasn't me.
Yep.
It was someone else who is much better at tennis than I am.
Well, let's talk about that when we come back. All right?
All right.
And just leave people alone. Let them express themselves. Chris and Amy on KMOX.
Want to keep your gas-powered engines running like new? Stable's proprietary formulas are proven by third-party testing to outperform the competition in keeping fuel fresh, preventing corrosion, and cleaning the entire fuel system. With Stable, you can have confidence you are doing the right thing for your engine's long-term health. Just pour into your gas can or fuel tank, then top off with fresh fuel. At every fill-up or when you store, start with Stable. Available where fuel additives are sold.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Wait. Now, wait a little longer. Great. You may have just increased your lifetime income by tens of thousands of dollars. That's how Social Security can work for you. The longer you wait, the more money you may get. Deciding when to start taking your Social Security benefits is one of the most important retirement decisions you'll make. Kyle Jones and Matt Allgaier and the team at Fire Capital Management, formerly Heisey Advisory Group, can show you the options and help make the right decisions for you and your situation. Call them today, 314-328-4400. You spent decades paying in, optimize what comes out. Kyle Jones and Matt Allgaier and the Fire Capital Management team can help you squeeze every penny out of your Social Security benefits. Call now, 314-328-4400. That's 314-328-4400. Firm is not affiliated with the U.S. government. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Hi, everyone. This is Ben, board-certified master arborist with Timberline Professional Tree Care. Here to talk with you about removing dead, dangerous, and unwanted trees from your property. Timberline has recently invested in cutting-edge equipment to remove your trees in the safest, most efficient way possible. In fact, our robotic tree removal can remove trees in about half the time as conventional means, with less manpower and thereby saving you a ton of money. This is just one of the ways that we continue to innovate. Timberline has a cost calculator on our new website, stltreecare.com, which can provide you a guaranteed tree removal quote instantly from the comfort of your own home. Don't hassle with trying to get your brother-in-law's cousin or whoever to come cut your tree down. He's never coming. And that guy that won't call you back, he's never coming either. Save yourself a bunch of time and money and call Timberline Professional Tree Care today at 636-479-7475 or use the cost calculator on our brand new website at stltreecare.com.
Hi, I'm Angie Hicks, co-founder of Angie. When you use Angie for your home projects, you know all your jobs will be done well. Roof repair? Done well. Kitchen sink install? Done well. Deck upgrades? Done well. Electrical upgrade? Done well. Angie's been connecting homeowners with skilled pros for nearly 30 years, so we know the difference between done and done well. Hire high-quality, certified pros at Angie.com.
When you haven't found love, it can feel like everyone else has. It's in every movie, every song, and all the PDA. Looking for love sucks. Thankfully, California Psychics can give you the guidance you need to find the one. We guarantee if your reading isn't life-changing, it's free. And new customers receive 20 minutes for just $20. Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com and experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
Hi, this is Kevin Wheeler, and I want to tell you about the 213 Flashpoint Complex, which is available at one of my favorite places, Supplement Superstores. Now, this is a metabolism drink. You have one in the morning, one in the evening. It helps you optimize fat loss around the clock. Yeah, even while you're sleeping. So it'll fight and eliminate cravings. It gives you all-day focused energy with no crash. At night, it lowers cortisol levels. That'll aid in recovery and helps you get that restful night's sleep as well. 213 Flashpoint is available at Supplement Superstores. Find your location at supplementsuperstores.com.
KMOX, your go-to for family-friendly discussions of topics that matter to you. The voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
And to all those people that have chosen to disrespect the player, in this case me, have a good night. Good night, good night. Very good night. Yeah. I played in much more hostile environment, trust me. You guys can't touch me.
I mean,
that was Novak Djokovic after he advanced to the quarterfinals of Wimbledon, none other than Wimbledon, after he defeated his opponent Holger Rune. And he believed that the crowd was disrespecting him by booing him throughout the match. Now, here's the thing. As you heard, his opponent's last name was Rune. And I've been watching a lot of Wimbledon. I did not watch this match live, but I watched some of the clips, and it seems that the crowd was cheering when Djokovic won a point, but then said Rune when Rune would win a point.
Okay, there's a little rumble there.
But that was every time Rune won a point, because I feel like if they were booing Djokovic, maybe they would boo when he would win a point. But I'm a little surprised. And that clip we played, that was 15 seconds out of about a minute 15 of him calling out the fans for booing him. And the interviewer even said, "Oh, I don't know that they were booing you. I think they were cheering Rune."
I know they were cheering for Rune, but that's an excuse to also boo. Listen. I've been on the tour for more than 20 years, so trust me, I know all the tricks. I know how it works.
Okay, so all right, here's my first thought is he started the whole thing by saying I've been around a lot more hostile crowds than this, so you can't touch me. But he spent a minute complaining about it, so clearly it did bother him. But also, who cares, man? You've been playing this sport at a very high level for 20 years. If people boo you, what does it matter? You win all the time. Mm-hmm. You've dominated in the sport for so long. Why would it bother you if a handful of people in the crowd don't like you? Because when you go home, you're doing pretty well in life. I don't know, man. It seems overly sensitive for a guy who is a premier professional athlete.
And it's weird because he did call the fans out again in 2021 at the U.S. Open when he played Rune. I don't know if it's Rune or Rune. When he played him. So you would think, are you only getting booed when you played this guy?
Maybe.
Because if so, that's
it's
the guy's name. It's
yes.
not a boo. And I was even trying to look at the history of booing at Wimbledon. Is it especially insulting at Wimbledon? And what are they going to do? And I didn't find anything.
You know what it is? He probably just doesn't like anybody cheering against him. And all right, so I have my feelings on booing in general. I think if it is a team sport, it's a whole lot different. So let's say you play for the Cardinals and you make a mistake or you're just not performing all that well. And you're playing at Busch Stadium, which is supposed to be the friendly crowd, and they start booing you because you're hitting 150 and you strike out in a big moment. And they start booing you consistently, which doesn't happen very often here, but it has happened before. That, I think, that's one thing, because when the crowd that's supposed to love you hates you, but they cheer for everybody else on your same team, that probably feels pretty demoralizing. Yeah. That's different than being an individual,
right?
Who maybe people are just not a fan of you, and they're a fan of the other guy that you're playing against. That's fine. That's part of sports.
Well,
this is a little. This to me seems overly sensitive for a guy who's at the top of his game.
You got to get over it. John Mozeliak, and like you mentioned, Cardinals fans are not booers. Adam Wainwright's last game at Busch Stadium, when John Mozeliak came up to honor Adam Wainwright, he got kind of booed. That's unusual. And he acknowledged it. And he said, oh, I thought for a moment you were cheering for Lars Nootbaar. Kind of made a joke, but acknowledging, he's like, that he heard it. I thought he handled it perfectly. They're fans, right? You got to keep moving forward. Don't take it personally. I also know in St. Louis, when fans boo, sometimes you should pay attention because it's so unusual for us to boo. When Jordan Kyrou had kind of the terse, unfriendly statement after Craig Berube was fired, Jordan Kyrou got booed, and then he cried and apologized later. And I kind of feel like, yeah, Jordan.
Well, that's a little different.
Well, right.
He brought that on himself.
He brought it on himself. And that's what I'm saying is, with the St. Louis fans, if you get booed in St. Louis, you could probably pay attention. With Djokovic, you're in Wimbledon. Come on.
There's a difference between booing a guy who's not trying, or booing a guy who's just being a jerk and everybody finds out you're being a jerk behind the scenes. That's different than you're out there really trying to do well, working day in, day out, and the results just aren't there. In those cases, booing absolutely does not help.
Yeah.
But when it's something else, just wear it, man. Grow up.
I would boo you for sure.
Yeah, fine. And I would say, great. I don't like you anyway. But that's not true. Hurtful. I love you.
I love you too.
Oh, I love this guy. John Morosi from MLB Network and Sirius XM. This guy's the best. We're going to give you the birds when we come back. He's got a podcast with Ozzie Smith he'll tell us about next on KMOX.
Navien tankless water heaters, the proven leader in condensing technology. Request a Navien because you deserve the best in endless hot water delivery. Learn about Navien's condensing tankless water heaters and find a Navien contractor at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Feel like everything's clouded by doubt? Visit CaliforniaPsychics.com. Our psychics are available to talk 24/7, and we guarantee if it's not life-changing, it's free. Experience the joy of certainty. California Psychics.
If you're thinking about selling your home, I'm sure there are two things that you want: certainty and the most money, right? This is Debbie Monterey, and if you've been listening to me for some time, you know that the agent I trust is Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty, St. Louis's real estate expert. Here's why she should be your first call when looking for an agent. Gloria does not make empty promises. She provides written guarantees. What does that mean for you? Certainty. Certainty isn't the only thing you want. You also want the most money. Gloria is able to get her home sellers more money than the average agent because she already has the buyers. This is why Gloria will guarantee to sell your home at your agreed upon price, or she will buy it. To get your guaranteed price, call St. Louis's real estate expert, Gloria Liu, at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888, or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date. GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Are you ready to shape the future? Missouri is crafting its master plan on aging, and we want to hear from you. Visit health.mo.gov/aging to share your thoughts, ideas, and concerns. We can create a vibrant, inclusive future for all generations.
Broadcasting from the Underline Three Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
At 11:30, rain and 71 downtown at the Arch. 3 deaths attributed to Hurricane Beryl. More than 2 million people without power. The mayor of Galveston, Craig Brown, says they had extensive damage on the island.
I am told by Senator Pellert late last night that their goal is to get the majority, as many of the customers they can on the island, up and running and back online by the latest tomorrow.
The rain is arriving in our region. We'll have more in the news at noon. Cleared the crash on 6440 going west. That was before Woods Mill. There's a crash on 70 eastbound at TR Hughes, 70 east at TR Hughes. This afternoon, heavy rain at times from the tropical rainstorm. Watch for flooding, high 76 for tonight. Rain from the tropical rainstorm as well. Areas of flooding, humid late tonight, low 66. For tomorrow, sun and clouds with a high of 87. Right now, we've got rain. It's 71, sponsored by Sachs Financial. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
When it comes to retirement, you don't need to worry or sweat the small stuff if you have Sachs Financial on your side. Sachs Financial, home of the Retirement Compensation Plan. SACHS, Sachs Financial, because income is the outcome that matters. RetireSafeSTL.com.
This is an important notice to all U.S. taxpayers. The IRS is giving away billions of dollars in tax savings through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative to aid delinquent taxpayers. This initiative was established for anyone facing financial hardship and unable to pay their back taxes. Qualifying and enrolling in this program will stop all collections, settle your delinquent tax problem, and even reduce what you owe by thousands of dollars. Call the hotline at People's Tax Relief to see if you qualify and get this free information by dialing 800-727-9105. If you have unfiled tax returns or cannot afford to pay your personal or business back taxes, you can now get the help you need. One simple phone call can resolve your tax problem and save you thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105. 800-727-9105.
Enjoy rounds of golf with friends this summer, courtesy of KMOX and Cutwater. Real cocktails perfectly mixed. Now through July 14th, head to your local Schnucks, Deerbergs, or liquor store. Look for the Cutwater display and scan the QR code to get entered for a chance to win 6 rounds of golf at area courses from Walters Golf Management. You and your friends could hit the links at courses like Gateway National Golf Links, Stonewolf, Far Oaks, and more. No purchase necessary. Open to Missouri residents 21 or older. Details and rules at KMOX.com/contests.
Hi, I'm Paul Goldschmidt.
I'm Cardinals outfielder Lars Nootbaar.
I'm Woodson Contreras.
Now, Chris and Amy give you the birds.
I'm Adam Wainwright, and you're listening to the voice of the Cardinals, KMOX.
The pitch. Swing and a base hit into oh, what a play by Ozzie! Unreal! Unreal! Listen to the crowd.
Missed that guy. Mike Shannon. Today's Cardinals Report brought to you by Renner Garage Door, RENNER, forward and back, family owned and top rated, RennerDoorSTL.com. It's Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji. As the show goes on today, it is time to go to the Quiver River Electric guest line, and joining us this morning is a baseball analyst on MLB Network and SiriusXM, host of the podcast Road to Cooperstown. And he's got a podcast with Ozzie Smith, and he is here to talk about it with us. It is Jon Morosi from MLB Network. John, thank you for joining us this morning. How are you doing?
Chris and Amy, good morning. Hope all is well in the great city of St. Louis, and thanks for the opportunity to be on the show today.
Well, it's good to have you. And this Road to Cooperstown podcast, and you're highlighting players around baseball and historic players, and you've chosen to speak with Ozzie Smith. And Ozzie here, as you can imagine, is very highly thought of. He is revered here, the Hall of Famer. What was it like to have the conversation with him, and why did you choose to talk to Ozzie?
So it's a great question. He was so easy and comfortable to speak with, is what I'll begin by saying, is that for Cardinal fans who have grown up loving Ozzie Smith and the smile and the flips and everything that we associate with him, I'm here to tell you that speaking with him, it's all real. his joy and the way that he shared his story was just so relatable. It was a very, very comfortable conversation. And just to kind of give you a quick big picture view of the podcast, the name of it is The Road to Cooperstown. And our goal in partnership between SiriusXM Radio and the Hall of Fame is that we're hoping to put together a series where we interview every living Hall of Famer who's able to do the interview with us. And that's the goal. That's the charter of what we're trying to do. And so certainly for me as a lifelong baseball fan, the fact that I get a chance to interview Ozzie Smith, and we've spoken with Joe Torre and Johnny Bench and John Smoltz. These are legends and people that I've gotten to know on different levels over the years. But this certainly was the longest conversation I'd had with Ozzie. I'd certainly seen him around at different events, but I've never really been able to sit down and speak with him. And I think you really got the sense, Chris and Amy, just the things that made him great. And that part of this, the idea of this podcast is to ask players questions that they don't often get. And so, yes, we talked about his walk-off home run in the postseason, but I wanted to get at the journey and what it was like for him and what it took for him to go from California to San Diego and then, of course, to St. Louis and then eventually the Hall of Fame and the adversity that he faced along the way. And I think one of the things that stood out to me was when he spoke about the way that people regarded him, looked at him because of him being short in stature and how other people saw limitations and said, wow, he's not 6'5" and he probably can't hit 500 home runs. So we're going to reduce and limit what we think he can do. And Ozzie very proudly noted, for someone that was criticized for his offense at different times, he's very proud to point out, hey, I had more than 2,400 hits. So it's important to point out that, and it really goes back to something that I think is essential in what creates longevity in the game, and certainly the Cardinals have seen it in recent years with Albert and Yachty and Adam Wainwright. It's the ability to, first of all, love the game, and second of all, take pride in developing your craft. And Ozzie Smith did that, both defensively and offensively. And the thing that he said that I think really stuck out to me was that his defensive ability was certainly so great and so high that he was able to stay in the major leagues long enough to figure out the offensive aspects. And I think that was really interesting and a good lesson for all of us, whether we're sports analysts or teachers or coaches or parents or bosses of anybody, that in the case of Ozzie Smith, the lesson was, because people saw virtue in the one skill that he had, that was a standout skill right away, he was able to use that aptitude and develop the other skill that allowed him to stay. And I think we should all ask ourselves, are we giving the people around us enough grace and time and space and belief to develop themselves into who they can be, as opposed to judging them quickly on what we see at first glance? And I think that, to me, is a lesson that certainly goes far beyond baseball that I really took away from that conversation.
You talk about his story being relatable, and obviously hinting at that with what you told us now about how he was able to grow his skill set. But specifically, especially when he was younger, what part of his career and his development did you find the most relatable for aspiring players?
Well, Amy, it's a really great question. I think that a couple things stand out. Number one, the relationship with his mom and how much she encouraged him and empowered him to be himself and to follow his dreams. And I think that to me was one of the biggest lessons that I heard from Ozzie was about how she created the atmosphere in which his dreams became a reality. And I think it was, just as a parent myself, it was pretty cool to hear about how her framework gave him the space to develop his own dream. And actually a lot of it, because she was working very hard, of course, to be able to support their family. Ozzie described a lot of his learning of the game at an early age was himself with the ball, throwing it up against the wall and training his reflexes. And when we think now about how expensive youth sports are, and certainly I understand that as a parent myself of kids who play sports, and the notion that I think as Americans we've gotten so on this track about, well, you've got to do X and Y and Z if you want to play in college or play in high school, and you got to go on this travel team or that travel team. Again, the greatest defensive player that any of us ever saw taught himself how to play the game by throwing a ball against a wall. And so let's not get too extreme about what we think you have to do to be great. Ozzie was great because he put in the work in his own way. And he talked about how one of the ways that he would test his speed was throwing the ball over the house and hoping that it would hit the gutter or the trough to bounce enough that by the time he ran around the house, he'd be able to catch it on the fly. Like that's the kind of imagination that he had. And he was given space to have his own imagination. The other thing that stood out to me was he was undrafted out of high school. So you're short in stature, undrafted out of high school. What allowed him to keep playing, and this is the other great lesson for all of us, families and kids who are hopefully listening to this right now in the summertime, to say he got a partial academic scholarship. to Cal Poly San Luis Obispo. So he was undrafted, and the ticket to him being able to play college baseball at all was a partial academic scholarship. So let's remember that the one thing as a student athlete that you can control, absolutely beyond however tall or fast you are you a good student? Are you putting in the time to really maximize your academic potential? It was being a good to great student that allowed Ozzie Smith to keep playing baseball. And he was, even when he got to San Luis Obispo, he was homesick. He wanted to come home. His mom said, nope, stick it out. Actually, he said that his mom knew that if she called his baseball coach from his high school coach from back in the LA area, that would then call Ozzie and say, hey, coach, how about you call him and say, hey, stick it out. You can do this. Makes a phone call. Ozzie stays. He develops his ability, and the rest is history. So it's the belief. I think all of us, no matter how confident we are in what we do, you can be the most confident athlete or broadcaster or professional or whatever it is that we do in life, and we all have moments of doubt. And I think in the case of Ozzie, his coach, his mom, they were there in those moments to support him, and I just think it's such a powerful lesson for all of us.
John Morosi is our guest. The podcast is called The Road to Cooperstown. You can listen to it wherever you get your podcasts. Sirius XM on Saturdays it's released, or you can go to baseballhall.org. That's the Hall of Fame's website, and you can find the podcast there. He visiting with Ozzie Smith. His newest episode is with Craig Biggio. You spoke to George Brett, John Smoltz, as you mentioned, so it's a really good podcast. And it's very insightful with some great baseball Hall of Famers. While we have you, John, wanted to talk a little bit about where the Cardinals are right now. They have started to play some pretty good ball over the last couple of months, and they've played themselves into being 6 games over 500. And early in the year, it just was not going well. Does this team look to you like they could end up overtaking the Brewers? Or is this a wild card team? How do you look at them?
Well, I look at them as certainly being in the race, in contention, hopefully buyers at the deadline, or at least standing pat. And that's certainly a contrast to where we were at the beginning of the year when we were talking about, okay, is Paul Goldschmidt going to get traded, or are they going to take this rotation apart and start moving guys? They have, and it's remarkable that with both Arenado and Goldschmidt still not having their typical seasons, they're still right in the hunt for a playoff berth. And even with missing Contreras for more than a month, they're still right in that conversation. I think Burleson's emergence has been a huge storyline for them this season. I think the bullpen and having Helsley really in that comfortable ninth inning spot, and certainly a deserving all-star selection for him. I think Sonny Gray obviously has had a really good first half of the season too. And they believe they'll get healthier as they move deeper and deeper into the season with some of the different guys coming back, and maybe even just from within, they'll become a better ball club. They have exceeded my expectations for them. I think Oli Marmol's done a very good job of forging an identity for this team collectively. Even though, like, you look at some of the numbers, I think with Gorman, there's more that he could do. Walker, obviously, the struggles he's had this year, you wonder, is he potentially someone that they could trade for another piece at the major league level this season? I think Mason Wynn has become, you're talking about great Cardinal shortstops. Obviously, he's got some distance to go to catch up with the Wizard, but he's got a lot of really unique qualities, and I love watching Mason Wynn play. One of my favorite players to watch in the game this season. So I think they have collectively impressed me. I would expect that they will buy, but there's probably not a better fit for them to upgrade their offense than just a Paul Goldschmidt or a Nolan Arenado or a Nolan Gorman having more of a normal second half for all of them. And if they even get to like 80% of what they normally do or are capable of doing, I think they'll be fine in the second half of the season. So it's actually a pretty exciting time. I was there in St. Louis. It was, I think, 2 weeks ago. Yesterday I was there for a ball game. And I always love coming to St. Louis, and just to be able to see the ballpark and the people there was awesome. So I think that the vibes, very much from my sort of national perspective, with St. Louis are better than I expected them to be, and I would hope to see a very active trade deadline for for John Mozeliak, Michael Gersh and company.
Yeah, lastly on that, what's the difficulty here in trying to put something together when you really have 2/3 of teams that are within striking distance of a playoff spot, maybe even a little more than that, and we are just a couple of weeks or so away from the deadline?
Yeah, you're right. I think there's not a lot of true sellers at the moment. The Marlins definitely have some bullpen to move. I'd consider someone like a Tanner Scott potentially being an option for the Cardinals as a really good late inning guy. Of course, he's an all-star as well. The price tag is going to be high for him as a result. But you're right on. The White Sox are certainly sellers. The Marlins are certainly sellers. The Rangers may actually be trending towards that direction. So I would say the Rangers, the Angels, maybe a little bit less obvious as sellers, but I would say certainly trending in that direction. The Tigers probably more likely are becoming potential sellers as well. So there will be some guys out there. The Toronto Blue Jays, maybe a Yusei Kikuchi to help round out the rotation for the rest of the season. I think he's someone that you would look at as well. So there are not a lot of teams right now, but part of the unique schedule now, Chris and Amy, is we've got the draft begins on Sunday. So a lot of front offices now, when I'm calling GMs this week, they're saying, John, first of all, I'm not going to tell you what we're doing anyway, but second of all, we're busy with our draft meetings right now. So it is kind of a busy week in the industry, and I think we'll get a little more clarity as we get towards the beginning part of next week.
John, appreciate the conversation. Thank you for talking with us today.
Thanks for the invite to be on the air. I'm certainly a big fan of KMOX, so really thrilled to be on the air with both of you here today. Thank you so much.
Awesome.
Thank
John
you.
Morosi, analyst on MLB Network and SiriusXM. That podcast is called Road to Cooperstown, and the second to last episode was Ozzie Smith. So if you want to hear it, you can go to baseballhall.org/podcast. You can get it wherever you get your podcast, but definitely check it out. John Morosi with Road to Cooperstown.
And are we chatting with Ozzie Smith tomorrow?
Yes.
Yes, we are.
We've got Ozzie Smith tomorrow. Can you believe it?
I can.
That's
Sounds like
good
you
stuff.
can't. You look more surprised than I do.
Nobody told me.
No, we are. We're chatting with Ozzie Smith tomorrow. That'll
How
be a
about
lot
that?
of fun. I know.
Ozzie Smith will join us tomorrow. 11:30?
11 a.m.
Yes. Ozzie
Right
Smith
here,
tomorrow.
KMOX. You don't want to miss. This is why you never want to miss the Chris and Amy show. Sometimes we surprise ourselves.
Get the Odyssey app so that you can listen to this. I think you can listen to Road to Cooperstown on the Odyssey app too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. You didn't know that, did you? It's Chris and Amy on KMOX.
All right, here's what I do know. If you need a fence, here is the company you need to call. STL FenceWorks, stlfenceworks.com. Family owned and operated, locally owned and operated, as they have been for over 50 years. That's really important to me. I love working with companies that are local, that get St. Louis, that are family centered, and STL FenceWorks is. Sean Timothy Long, he took over the company after his parents, Russ and Carolyn Long, started it back in 1971. And STL FenceWorks is proud and excited to install American-made aluminum and vinyl fence products. So for instance, STL FenceWorks has teamed up with Jareth Manufacturing. Now, Jareth invented the aluminum fence industry over 50 years ago, and their product is wholly sourced and manufactured right here in the U.S. And STL FenceWorks is the third largest Jareth customer in the world. STL FenceWorks also has vinyl fencing, and not just plain white. They've partnered with National Vinyl Products to provide you with all sorts of options: tan, clay, gray, variegated wood grain vinyl fence products, and all of those are made right here in the U.S. Visit them today, stlfenceworks.com, stlfenceworks.com.
Today, we're constantly taking photos and videos to remember our favorite moments. But what about those captured before the smartphone? What about the memories tucked away on aging VHS tapes, film reels, or in fading photos?
These cherished memories are fading away with time, vulnerable to threats like heat, moisture, and mold. But fear not, there's a solution to safeguard your legacy. Hi, I'm Adam.
And I'm Nick. Together, we founded Legacy Box over a decade ago with one mission: to bring your memories into the 21st century.
It's time to bid farewell to old tapes you can't watch and faded photos. Legacy Box transforms them into digital treasures, ready to share with a click.
Just like magic, your shoebox of memories is now safely stored in the cloud or on a thumb drive.
Over 1 million families have trusted Legacy Box, so you can rest assured your priceless moments are in good hands.
Don't let your childhood fade away on old tapes. It's time to digitize those priceless moments.
Fast forward into the digital age. Visit legacybox.com/value and unlock 50% off your order. That's legacybox.com/value.
We all have someone we love, like the favorite lyric in our favorite song. You can't imagine life without them. So tell them today, I love you. Get screened. It could help save their life. Visit cancer.org/getscreened to learn more.
This is a test of the emergency alert system. This is only a test. This has been a test of the emergency alert system. This was only a test.
Summertime is the best time to enjoy the outdoors and enhance the appearance of your home. Banner Construction can make your home the showplace of the neighborhood with maintenance-free James Hardie siding and beautiful Pella replacement windows. Drive up to your home with a renewed pride. Visit bannerconstruction.com or call 314-569-1050. Get a free in-home design and estimate. Call 314-569-1050 and have a banner day. 314-569-1050.
Your best friend deserves the best care. That's why your pet needs regular checkups and preventatives so they can keep running, playing, snuggling, and being part of your family. Your pet won't tell you when something is wrong, so the veterinarians at the Animal Medical Center of Mid-America are here to help. They provide comprehensive, compassionate care in a fear-free setting. Give your best friends the care they deserve. Go to amcma.org or 314-951-1534 to schedule a visit today.
Just imagine being walked all over for 36 years. Who would do that? The great customers of Reinhold Flooring, that's who. For over 3.5 decades, Reinhold Flooring has been the mecca for carpet, hardwood, vinyl, laminate, and area rugs. Reinhold Flooring is customer-driven with a focus on top-quality products and installations from the best team in the business. So come on in and walk all over your next flooring at Reinhold Flooring. Visit them at 5429 Telegraph Road in St. Louis or online at reinholdflooring.com.
Retiring soon? Get the information you need by joining Kyle Jones and Matt Allgeier of Fira Capital Management for your retirement highway, Sunday mornings at 9:30. Investment advisory services made available through Pine Ridge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor. Securities made available through AE Financial Services, LLC, member FINRA and SIPC.
Celebrate National Carpet Cleaning Month with Zero Res and get 3 rooms of carpet clean for just $129 and get a 4th room for free and take $75 off your air duct cleaning. Call right now, 314-474-2020 or book online at ZeroResSTL.com and take advantage of the savings.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
If you've been injured in a truck accident, you need the best. Onder Law. Let us make your case our cause. Truck accident? Call Onder Law for a free review at 314 or 618-9000000.
Making radio waves more interesting. The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
I feel like Matt Pajeski's trying to make us mad.
He is, obviously.
Our producer, Matt Pajeski.
I can tell you what, though. Nobody loves to give away train tickets like us. We will give train tickets out because we're generous.
Oh, where are we going?
To the concert.
Oh,
Yep.
I thought you meant
yeah.
on the Amtrak.
Nope, not Amtrak.
We're taking the Lincoln Line or the Texas Eagle.
Yeah, nope, we're not. This is for a concert on July 16th.
Not July 20th. We erroneously reported yesterday it was July 20th.
Yes.
But this is a concert for July 16th.
At Hollywood Casino Amphitheater, better known as Riverport. You could a chance to win tickets to see Train and REO Speedwagon. Let's call in right now. Be the
fifth
caller to 314-955-1120. 314-955-1120. Be the 5th caller so that you can win your train tickets. Not Amtrak.
No.
The concert.
Train, the band, and REO Speedwagon. The only Train song I remember, I forgot that was Train, but the something about
Drops
angels.
of Jupiter.
Well, yeah, Drops of Jupiter.
That song.
Call Little Angels. That one,
Yeah.
yeah. That one's not bad.
And then Drops of Jupiter.
Drops of Jupiter. Did we talk to him?
No.
I think we interviewed the train guy.
Who is the train guy?
The conductor?
Not the you doofus. No, the lead
Adam
singer.
Levine.
No, I think it's Pat Monahan, I'm pretty sure.
Did we talk? I feel like
Is
we
Adam
interviewed
Levine?
Pat Monahan. We interviewed the Better Than Ezra guy. Steven something. I think his name is Steven or Stefan. We interviewed him.
That was Third Eye Blind.
Third Eye Blind. Third Eye Blind. Damn. I was close. Third Eye Blind. We talked to Stephen Jenkins. He was good, right?
Yeah. Well, anyway.
Then, I don't know. Anyway, so hopefully you win those tickets.
It looks
Best
like
of luck to
it
you.
looks like somebody's won
Already?
already.
Yeah.
Well, the number was 5.
Yeah. Yeah. And there are people who are just waiting. As soon as they hear it, they're going to call in. So good luck to you. Be very careful whenever you call in. We still have tickets to give away for the rest of the week. So each day for the rest of the week, we have tickets for Train and REO Speedwagon that we will give away. When we come back, Governor Parson has signed a massive bill into law. We will discuss that and more on KMOX.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-522-2174. 800-522-2174. 800-522-2174.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free. With zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. HIMS.com/JOY.
KMOX, KECK HD2, K254CR, St. Louis.
The home of the Cardinals, KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
If you have an IRS problem, getting accurate legal advice could help get this all behind you right now. Hi, I'm local attorney Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm. The IRS made new changes that make it easier to settle your IRS debt for a reduced amount. Not all our clients qualify, but under the IRS's new Fresh Start program, you may be able to resolve your IRS problems quickly and for less money. But don't wait. An IRS problem is a legal problem. You need someone who understands both the IRS and the law. Don't trust your tax problems to some TV personality. The Drury Law Firm has handled thousands of IRS cases over the last 15 years, and your first visit is completely free and confidential. And I'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it will cost. So if you're facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120, or go to Lance, DRURY law.com. If you have IRS issues, you need a local attorney. You need me, Lance Drury.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Mid-America's most trusted source for news. KMOX.
At 12 noon, we've got heavy rain, 71 degrees downtown at the Arch. The news is sponsored by Michael's Flooring Outlet, the flooring experts, michaelsflooringoutlet.com. Our top story.
This just in.
The Cardinals announced that due to inclement weather, there will be no game against the Royals at Busch Stadium this evening.
Tonight's game has been postponed. The Cardinals and Royals will play a split doubleheader tomorrow. The 6:45 game for tonight will move to 12:45 tomorrow. and then the originally scheduled 6:45 game to wrap up what is essentially a 2-game series played in one day. Tickets for tonight's game will be valid for tomorrow's rescheduled 12:45 game. Tom Ackerman, KMOX Sports.
The rain we're seeing is from Tropical Storm Beryl.
I'm Stuart McMillan.
We're already at an elevated state.
Meteorologist Matt Beitcher with the National Weather Service in St. Louis says upwards of 5 inches could fall from the tropical storm, which could cause flood stages to be in flux.
Missouri's coming down a little bit, which is good, but the Mississippi is still in flood. A large portion of it is still in flood. And more rain on top of it is certainly not going to help the situation.
Beitcher says we'll see a lot of smaller rivers like the Merrimack, Big River, and Black River flooding from Beryl's heavy rain. And he says with storms calming a bit to the north of the state, no additional water will be coming down to us to push flooding even higher.
CBS's Nicole Killian has word of another Democratic meeting on Capitol Hill, this one on the Senate side. It follows a House Democratic meeting over concerns about President Biden's age and fitness.
I spoke with Texas Congressman Lloyd Doggett, who was the first sitting Democrat to call on the president to step down. He said this meeting today did not change his position in any way, that he still stands by that, although he did indicate if the president stays on the ticket that he would support him.
The 4th of July violence in downtown St. Louis was the worst in years, according to the alderperson who represents that area.
Seeing the videos online was truly horrifying.
Alderwoman Kara Spencer sharing her reaction to the violence in downtown St. Louis this past weekend.
Mass amount of people, particularly juveniles, with fireworks being shot in a very violent and aggressive manner. And then, of course, the guns. And the guns being fired, the weapons were just truly horrifying.
I asked her about the police response to the violence. She believes the police did their best with what they have to work with.
I think it's clear that, when you see that kind of mayhem unfolding, that there wasn't enough police presence.
Spencer points to the police force being understaffed by around 30% as a factor that hurt their ability to keep downtown safe this weekend. Sean Malone, KMOX News.
The KMOX Business Desk. The chairman of the Federal Reserve is testifying at a Senate hearing today on the state of the U.S. economy.
The Federal Reserve remains squarely focused on our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people.
Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell.
Over the past 2 years, the economy has made considerable progress.
But he says despite that progress,
the committee has stated that we do not expect it will be appropriate to reduce the target range for the federal funds rate until we have gained greater confidence that inflation is moving sustainably toward 2%.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
The Dow from Stifel's up 124 points to 39,469. Exit ramp is closed. 55 going north, getting off at Revis Barracks. There's a crash on 44 going east at Shrewsbury. That's got the left 2 lanes closed and the left shoulders closed as well.
A flood watch through late tonight. Rain heavy at times this afternoon from Tropical Rainstorm Beryl will lead to some flooding, the high 76. Breezy tonight with rain from Tropical Rainstorm Beryl early, the low 66. I'm AccuWeather meteorologist Joe Lundberg on the Voice of St. Louis, KMOX.
Sponsored by the Penn Mutual Life Insurance Company. They believe that life insurance is the central part of a sound financial plan and that it can make an enduring impact for generations to come. Talk to your independent advisor or go to PennMutual.com/STL. Penn Mutual, trusted for life. Rain 71 downtown. I'm Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
The Chris and Amy Show on KMOX. Brought to you by Together Credit Union. Check out their new Empower checking account and earn 5% interest on balances up to $25,000.
Amy Marks Coors, Chris Ranji on KMOX, final hour before the Dave Glover show happens. And if you are just now tuning in and we're not listening to the top of the hour news here at noon, the Cardinals game tonight has been postponed. It will be made up tomorrow at 12:45. It's part of a split doubleheader. That means the gates will open at 11:45 for game one. 12:45 game will happen, and then at 6:45 will be game two. Gates for that will open up at 5:15. So a split doubleheader tomorrow with the Kansas City Royals.
It also means, like you said, 12:45 first pitch, 11:50 pregame.
That's correct. So
and at 11 a.m., Chris Ranji and I are chatting with none other than the Wizard of Oz, Ozzie Smith.
Ozzie Smith will join us tomorrow at 11 o'clock right here on the Chris and Amy Show. Yesterday, we talked a little bit about the bill, the crime bill that Governor Parson was looking to sign, one that banned celebratory gunfire. Well, that did actually happen today. A large crime package was signed. It includes part of it is the Blair's Law, which is the celebratory gunfire or firing a weapon in a municipality. And it is named after the 11-year-old Blair Lane, who was struck and killed back on July 4th of 2011. So this bill has been signed into law. It also includes Valentine's Law, which makes it a felony for fleeing from the police when committing a crime. So that is part of the bill. So, yeah, good. It increases penalties. Here's another part of it. Increasing penalties for injuring or killing a police dog.
Yes. Okay. Just going back to Blair's Law and celebratory gunfire. And, I don't know how any reasonable person would think that shooting guns into the air in densely populated areas is a good thing. It's not. It's incredibly dangerous. You mentioned the tragic loss of that young girl who was hit by gunfire. I'm glad they're increasing the penalties. My question is, realistically, how do you enforce it? How do you find the person that randomly shot gunfire into the air? I'm not saying there shouldn't be a law. There should be.
Absolutely should be a law.
But how?
A law with teeth that allows a real punishment.
Assuming you can find the person. That seems difficult.
Yeah, unless you catch them in the act, unless somebody reports them, unless they have it on camera and they're able to find the person that way because somebody says, oh, I know who that is, and go get them. Unless that happens, I really don't know how you catch them. One other item of note from Governor Parson, and this actually happened yesterday, but he did meet with Mayor Lucas from Kansas City because there is an effort to keep the Chiefs and the Royals in the state of Missouri. He did tweet that they're looking forward to continued coordination with local partners to formulate a plan for Missouri's team. So we all know that Kansas is making a serious push to get both the Chiefs and the Royals to move across the state border. But Governor Parson in Missouri, at least as of right now, we don't know who the governor is going to be for the next term, but they are trying to make sure the Chiefs and Royals don't leave.
Yeah, the state of Kansas is taking it seriously. I have a feeling the Chiefs and the Royals don't want to leave Missouri and are using this threat as leverage, right? You want the TIF, you want the tax breaks for new stadiums, so they're going to use this as leverage. Speaking of the Blair's Law, celebratory gunfire, over the course of the weekend, we had a successful event in Fair St. Louis, but we also saw a ton of chaos on the streets. My friend went down to see the fireworks at the Arch. When he was leaving, he said, oh my gosh, I was christened, baptized, whatever you would call it, into St. Louis because walking to his car, people were shooting fireworks at each other and gunfire. He said it was impossible to tell the difference between fireworks and gunfire as he ran back to his car. And he's from California, so this was his first celebration here. We also saw what was classified as a mass shooting where 7 people were shot after July 4th into the early mornings of July 5th. Well, in the wake of that weekend, Police Chief Robert Tracy and Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore held a meeting on city safety yesterday, and they did try to reassure residents in downtown and the surrounding area that the overall crime rate is going down. Chief Tracy said, quote, "We've had some success in the last year and a half. We've helped reduce homicides to 10-year lows. Actually, we're trending in the right direction. Do we have a lot more work to do? Absolutely." End quote. And what's, I don't know if you want to call it irony or interesting, is that Alexis Zotos of KMOV was on her way to that very meeting yesterday when she saw crime tape being pulled out and safety calls for a shooting at 14th and Market. So the scene right there at that little park at 14th and Market by the statue, a man inside the park was shot. It was a graze wound, but police said the witnesses around were not helpful because all of them, quote, didn't see anything. At least 5 shots were fired right there in the middle of the afternoon. And I keep saying, It's not just that it's happening, it's where it's happening and when. It's happening in the middle of the day in the heart of the city, 14th and Market. So, yes, you can look at the data, and as Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore said, the perception always lags behind the data, right? Which makes sense. It makes sense. But man, it certainly doesn't feel like progress.
I know they were cheering for Rune, but that's an excuse.
Because you know what? We all own this. The criminal justice system, the community, the elected officials, the administration, the police department. We're all in this together. And we got to make sure we can find the best plans possible to make sure we can keep our community, the whole city, and also downtown safe.
That is the Chief Robert Tracy on that. So, look, I think Gabe Gore's right. The numbers will be in front of what the public perception is. And yeah, things are still going to happen, but you can't discount the numbers. And if it does continue to show there's improvement, then we should run with it. Continue to do better as a city, but also acknowledge when things do get better. Missouri State Highway Patrol troopers in Warren County still looking for an escaped prisoner. Eastbound I-70 rest area. He somehow got away from them. It happened about 8:30 last night, and as of right now, they are still looking for him. He is in his mid-30s, wearing a white T-shirt, black pants, and has a colostomy bag. Multiple tattoos covering his face, arms, and back. So we were just talking about juveniles escaping from the juvenile detention center.
And an update on that, the 15-year-old was quickly caught. The 16-year-old is still out there.
Yes. And so in this case, it looks like they are still searching for this prisoner.
Guy. Okay. Face tattoos and a colostomy bag are two, though, and the combo of the two together, you would think that you're not going to mistake someone else. Kind of a unique marker.
You would think. What are you asking, Amy? What are you asking?
If you had to pick one.
What would you rather have?
Yeah.
Well, if you have a face tattoo, you've done it on purpose. Nobody wants a colostomy bag.
But what if you changed your mind?
No one's going to change their mind on a face tattoo. Here's
the thing.
What do you think the regret rate on a face tattoo is?
I think I bet
it's
high.
I bet it's less than 15%.
Do you really?
Yep.
So I don't know how we can quantify this in the 10 seconds that we have. I will say this. You could, with the technology today, probably get the face tattoo removed to a certain point at least. Even if it's not invisible, you could get it removed. Somewhat related, there is a new poll/study that reveals Gen Zers and millennials are having tattoo regret, that a lot of them were following the trend, millennials, of getting tattoos, and perhaps more people got tattoos than really wanted tattoos. I know a lot of people love tattoos, but maybe on a whim or in a fad moment were getting tattoos and they regret it. And now they're posting on TikTok. Tattoo regret TikTok is like exploding.
Well, I have no regret about my tattoos. I have many, many tattoos.
It's just a bunch of old stations with X's over.
Yeah, for places I've worked. Crossed them all out then.
Yeah.
Yes. Hey, when we come back, a new addition to Forest Park, and we are looking forward to it. A very cool thing is happening in one of the jewels of our city. It's Amy Marks Kors and Chris Ranji on KMOX.
The weather report today is hot. So I hope all your everybody's air conditioning is cooling the best it can. Now, don't fret if it's 100 degrees outside and you have your thermostat set for 65 and it's not pulling it down to 65. That's not the air conditioner. That's just your house incapable. It's not insulated enough. It just can't handle that kind of heat being pulled into your house. But if you, at 100 degrees, it's not cooling it, below 80 for 2 days in a row, or if it's real humid and muggy, that is a sign that you're either having a problem like a window or doors left open, or your air conditioning is failing on you. So if that happens to be you, call me, Bart Inman, one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600, or on the internet, BartInman.com. That is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.com. God bless.
The Doctors of Ophthalmology Associates are pleased to welcome Dr. Samuel Berry to the practice. He joins Doctors Birdie, Malhotra, Brasati, and Royer as the Doctors' Doctors. 314-966-5000 or youridoc.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online at hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation to determine the ED medication that's best for you. Discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and a range of treatment options, including trusted generic alternatives to the name brands, at up to 95% off. ED is personal, and at Hims, so is treating it. Just go to hims.com/joy and get connected to a licensed medical provider online for free with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, hims.com/joy. That's hims.com/joy for your free online visit. hims.com/joy.
When you want a brand new kitchen, there's nothing to it. There's a brand new way to do it. 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
Bill talks about his experience with 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
We had 2 bathrooms. It was from the 1950s. We didn't know what to expect. We were a little skeptical that they could actually do this in that short a period of time. They did an amazing job. Brand new tub, shower, toilet, sinks, cabinetry, flooring, tile, you name it.
Were you happy with the finished product?
Very impressive, and we're just anxious to show it off to people now.
So you'd recommend 3-Day Kitchen and Bath?
Oh, absolutely. As a matter of fact, we can probably get a few more miles out of our kitchen, but when the time comes to do that, we'll definitely call them back.
It's about time.
3 days or less
at 3-Day Kitchen and Bath.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Celebrate July 4th with the hottest deals at Lowe's. Right now, get 2 select 2 or 2.5 quart red, white, and blue annuals for $10. And buy 2, get 1 free on select paint and exterior stain via Lowe's gift card rebate. Shop these deals before they're gone, because Lowe's knows summer savings. Valid through 7/10. Annuals offer in-store only. Excludes Alaska and Hawaii. Actual plant size and selection varies by location. Paint. More terms and restrictions apply. See Lowe's.com/rebates for details while supplies last.
Hi, this is Kent Newbold for Newbold BMW. Do not trust your BMW to some quickie lube place. Bring it to our award-winning service department. That's Newbold BMW in O'Fallon, Illinois, or newboldbmw.com. You'll be sold on Newbold.
Discussing what matters to you. Your family, your money, your health. KMOX. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Big news happening in Forest Park. Chris Ranji, Amy Mark Scores here with you. The park's first ever basketball courts open today at 2 p.m. In just a couple of hours, there will be a ribbon cutting, rain or shine. People have been pushing for basketball courts in Forest Park for a long time. It finally happened. As you know, I love Forest Park. I'm in the park every day, sometimes multiple times a day. I've watched the courts go up, and they're really nice looking. They're right by the visitor center. If you know where the handball courts.
By the handball court.
Yep, they're right behind there in that big grassy spot.
Close to Lindell.
Exactly.
Yep.
In between the visitor center and Lindell. There are lights for the courts, but there aren't fences like the chain link or walls or whatever around the courts like you see a lot, which I think looks really nice and keeps it feeling open. So
it looks cleaner.
There's landscaping, there are lights, but it looks very nice and clean and sharp.
Yeah, that's a very cool thing. Anytime they can make any improvement to the park and give people another thing that they can do in the park, great. That's great. I hope it attracts a lot of people, and I hope it ends up being a success. I can't imagine it won't be.
Mm-hmm.
It's good, man. We've got such a great park. It's one of the great urban parks in the country. We should continue to celebrate it and continue to improve it.
The courts are named after Nicholas Booker. He was a St. Louis area high school basketball player. He collapsed and died after an asthma attack in 2018 when he was a freshman in college. A tragic story. Great basketball player, and also in his summers, he worked at Forest Park with the Parks Department, so a tie-in there.
Although I would not recommend playing basketball today because the rain's not good for the ball. It doesn't bounce well.
I feel like the ball is going to be okay. The ball will be okay. I think it'll be more slick than anything else.
I think it'll be ruined.
So
it will feel like you're in a simulation because everything will look manufactured. Everything will look produced. It's very important that you shift your mindset, or you attempt to shift your mindset, to verifying the things that you feel you need through your experience, through your intuition. So even this talk, everything I've said, don't trust me.
Yeah, okay. That's Jack Dorsey, the billionaire, tech billionaire, most famous for founding Twitter, which is now called X, that Elon Musk bought it. He warned that in the next 5 to 10 years, people will not be able to distinguish between what's real and what's fake. He said, quote, "It will be almost impossible to tell. It will feel like you're in a simulation because everything will look manufactured. Everything will look produced." End quote. And then, of course, we heard him saying there that you have to go on your intuition and feeling and what you need to know. That also sounded very odd to me. I don't like it at all. I don't like ChatGPT. I don't like the use of AI. What scares me are deep fakes with images, videos, voices, all of it. And I hope that instead of AI ushering us into a post-truth society, I hope we realize, well, this is all so dangerous. We're just going to scrap the social media, the Twitter, the deep fakes because it's too dangerous.
I can't get past something that he said in that. And it's something about the tech bro mind that it's
offensive.
It's grating to me that he would give this piece of advice and he would say, "Look, I'm basically telling you this is what is going to happen, and here's the thing, and this is important. Also, don't trust me."
Yeah,
don't trust me.
I mean,
because
there has been some great innovation in tech over the years. Some great stuff. Some stuff we probably didn't need as a society. Some stuff that is actually useful to us. But that mindset bothers me so much.
Yes, and an ancillary to that mindset also, well, maybe actually foundational to it, I should say. Jack Dorsey, Sam Altman, Mark Zuckerberg, maybe you're friends with them. I don't know. Maybe they're great guys. I hate them. Here's why. They view humanity as a giant experiment.
Yeah, it's just aimless. Everything is aimless.
What if we tried this? And then the fallout and the consequences, not their problem. We're just going to, quote, move fast and break things, as Mark Zuckerberg said. And by breaking things, you mean you're breaking younger generations. You're breaking the human psyche. I do not like it. They're all guilty until proven innocent to me.
Amy, that's not how America works. It's not America.
Did you get choked up there?
How dare you? How dare you say that? The actor Alec Baldwin, he is on trial for involuntary manslaughter in New Mexico for the death of a cinematographer, Helena Hutchins. This was on the set of the movie Rust, and it happened 3 years ago. Well, today, jury selection begins for that involuntary manslaughter situation. I still really don't know how to feel about this entire case. And we've talked to Brad Young, our legal expert here on KMOX. If fundamentally, if I am an actor and I am given a piece for the set, if I am given a prop for the set, I am assuming that it is not deadly unless I'm being told, hey, this thing is live. Do not point it at anybody. So I'm still trying to figure out how he can actually be responsible for it, unless it's something greater where he's a producer and being a producer, you're responsible for anything that happens on the set. But that's not what this trial is.
Well, but he was a producer. He was a man. He managed
No, but it's not about him being a producer. He, as an actor, holding the weapon, is being charged with involuntary manslaughter.
As an actor, no, but responsibility as a producer, because it was his job to hire the weapons handler and so forth. Then he is responsible. As an actor, no. You would absolutely assume that the weapon doesn't have real bullets in it, that the weapon is ready to go. You're an actor. You might not even know how to quote unquote check a weapon to make sure it's safe.
Right. I'm really surprised at this whole thing, and we'll be curious about the outcome. Before we get to break, there was an Amtrak train that derailed near Washington, Missouri. Now, no injuries reported. All the cars remained upright, so everything is okay. Are you nervous being on a train? Do you ever think about that when you ride a train? Now, I take the Amtrak a decent amount. It's not like every week or every month even, but it's a decent amount. I find myself throughout the course of every trip at least a couple of times thinking about what happens if this thing falls off the track.
Yeah.
I do it all the time.
So I'm not a train taker. I can't remember the last time I was on a train, maybe when I was like 6.
Too bougie for the train, aren't you?
No, there aren't many trains in St. Louis, period. It's downtown in Kirkwood. That's where you would take the train. No, I'm not really a train taker, but if I were to get on a train, yes, I would. I would be more afraid of crashing on a train than I would on a plane. I'm more afraid of crashing on a train. I've seen that movie.
No, not
with Denzel Washington.
Not that kind of train. Not that kind of train. But listen, I think that I would rather crash on a train because you're lower to the ground already.
Yeah.
Because if you're up in the air, it's over.
What if you're going 100 miles an hour because the brake is stuck and you round a turn? You go around a turn and you go...
Just hold on to the seat real tight. You'll be all right. You don't believe it,
well,
do you?
You really know how to derail a conversation. I can tell you that.
I do? Amy, have you met you? That's Amy Marks Kors. I'm Chris Ranji. President Biden still in the race. He is still going for it, even though...
Still alive!
He's... Okay, stop it.
What?
Congressional Democrats meeting earlier this morning. Is there consensus on what happens moving forward? Well, we'll tell you when we come back on KMOX. And listen, St. Louis, our friends at Together Credit Union have just launched a brand new high-yield checking account. It's called Empower Checking. With Empower Checking, you earn above-market interest on the money you keep in your day-to-day checking account. The interest is then paid to you each month. It's a checking account that rewards you for balances and not activity. They make your money work harder for you. They developed it with for members who want to be rewarded for their balances, not for how often it's used. To apply, go to togethercu.org or stop by any one of the 14 St. Louis branches and work directly with one of the amazing member advocates. Get paid to save with Empower Checking. Visit togethercu.org/empower for full terms and details. Membership eligibility required. Together Credit Union, federally insured by the NCUA. Introducing Empower Checking.
If you have a problem with the IRS, believe me, it's not going away on its own. The IRS never gives up. They have endless resources, so they control the game. Well, your tax problems can end. I'm attorney Lance Drury with the Drury Law Firm, a local tax resolution firm with an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. I've handled thousands of IRS cases over the last 15 years. So when you hire me, you won't be speaking long distance or sending money to some TV pitchman that's riddled with consumer complaints. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll tell you on the spot exactly how much it will cost. So call me, Lance Drury, at 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120. Or go to Lance, DRURYlaw.com. If you have IRS issues, you need a local attorney, you need me, Lance Drury.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
It's Tom Ackerman for Ophthalmology Associates, the doctor's doctors, 314-966-5000 or online at youridoc.com.
12:30, rain and 72 downtown. 3 people died as barrels swept through parts of Texas. One of those deaths was a civilian employee of the Houston Police Department. Mayor John Whitmire says the officer was caught in his car in rising water on his way to work.
Tier 1, coming to work this morning. We were asking Tier 1 to make it to work.
Barrels rains are arriving here. We'll have more at 1. Crash on I-170 going south at Page Avenue. The right 2 lanes are closed there. The right shoulder's closed as well. There's just 1 lane getting by, so be aware on I-170 going south at Page Avenue. Also a crash on 70 going east before Lindbergh. We've got a stalled disabled vehicle, 70 going westbound at T.R. Hughes Boulevard. This afternoon, those rains from Beryl are coming in. Watch for flooding, high 76. More rain tonight, low 66. And for tomorrow, breezy, warmer, sun and clouds with a high of 87. Sponsored by Sandberg Phoenix Law Firm, it's 72 downtown. Michael Calhoun, KMOX News.
At Sandberg Phoenix, we're more than just a law firm. Our attorneys are committed to you, your business, and your community. We are ready to serve you in the areas of business litigation, intellectual property, health law, and products liability. SandbergPhoenix.com. The choice of lawyers and important decisions should not be based solely on advertising.
Tired of hearing scary ads about the IRS? Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. We may be able to significantly reduce and even eliminate what you owe to the IRS. Taxpayers should know. Huge savings are now being made available through the Fresh Start program that can drastically reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. Even if you haven't filed your taxes in years or are facing wage garnishment, liens, levies, or under audit, we can help. We've earned over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today. To see what savings you may qualify for, visit us online at TRA.com or call us at 800-511-0379. 800-511-0379. Again, that's 800-511-0379. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Just imagine being walked all over for 36 years. Who would do that? The great customers of Reinhold Flooring, that's who. For over 3.5 decades, Reinhold Flooring has been the mecca for carpet, hardwood, vinyl, laminate, and area rugs. Reinhold Flooring is customer-driven with a focus on top-quality products and installations from the best team in the business. So come on in and walk all over your next flooring at Reinhold Flooring. Visit them at 5429 Telegraph Road in St. Louis or online at reinholdflooring.com.
Are you ready to shape the future? Missouri is crafting its master plan on aging, and we want to hear from you. Visit health.mo.gov/aging to share your thoughts, ideas, and concerns. We can create a vibrant, inclusive future for all generations.
For everything St. Louis Cardinals, it's Cardinals Conversations. Use the Odyssey app or hear it on your favorite podcast platform. From game analysis, player and management interviews, it's exclusive Cardinals content from KMOX Sports, where the Redbird talk never stops.
Today was billed as a pivotal day for President Joe Biden and his attempt to win a second term as President of the United States, as House Democrats met today, Senate Democrats meeting as well. And as all lawmakers come back to Capitol Hill, the hope was that all sides, all members of the Democratic caucus would come together and have a distinct, same-page path moving forward. Apparently, it has been anything but that. We talked to Scott McFarland from CBS News, congressional correspondent, who is a regular on the show, and he said that it's very splintered right now, and it doesn't appear to be getting close to having any sort of consensus. In fact, one lawmaker today said that not only are we not on the same page, but we're not even in the same book.
Yeah, no, and also telling is one lawmaker walking out of that room, as Scott McFarland reported, as have other sources, said it was like a funeral.
Yep.
Like it was being at a funeral. And listen, the president has circles, close circles, closest circles, and so forth. So if you picture this concentric circles with the very closest being Jill Biden and his family. And then the very next circle being his closest advisors and so forth, and spreading out. The outer circle, we're starting to see some murmuring, some pressure. The outer circle may be pushing in on the inner circles. The Senate, we're not hearing that so much, right? Senators, if a lot of the leading senators
they haven't
were
really
to
said
speak
much
up,
at all.
No, and that would be a weightier circle, you could say. But what we don't know, as Scott McFarland pointed out, is if there's any pressure within his inner circle. I don't know, because one, we know Joe Biden is obstinate. He is stubborn, and he always has been. For better or for worse, I'm sure that's good in some situations to be stubborn as a politician. But even the younger, healthier Joe Biden was very stubborn. So when he says, I'm the only one that can beat Donald Trump, I'm the most qualified to beat Donald Trump, is he saying that despite his inner circle saying, Joe, it's time to step down? Or is he saying that because his inner circle continues to push him and say, stay in, Joe, stay in?
Who knows? But it is telling. I don't know if you happened to see any of Jon Stewart last night on The Daily Show. I saw just a little bit of it. And he brought back a clip from Biden last year as he was walking out from talking with the press, and he's leaving the press room after talking with everybody. And somebody says something to the effect of, can anybody, who else could beat Donald Trump in an election? And he says probably about 50 people.
Interesting.
So there was at one point in his mind that it would be very easy to take down Donald Trump. So I really have no idea what's going on. I don't know if him bowing out is actually the thing strategically that helps them win. I'm not entirely convinced of that.
Well, is the reason why you're not entirely convinced is because the alternative would be Kamala Harris, and you're afraid she will lose?
No, I think there's power with incumbency, and there could be with her too. You could just say this is the same. This is the same ticket. There are a lot of people, millions of people, who really aren't paying attention to what's going on, and probably won't up until maybe a couple of weeks before the election. So maybe they don't know, and they'll see Biden. Oh, yeah, I know Biden. I'm not entirely convinced. Maybe I'm wrong here.
And that's where, and I can't tell, to your point, whether or not the people paying attention hurts or helps him, because here is the thing. It's hard not to pay attention now. Biden's struggles are everywhere, every media outlet. Yeah. You can usually silo yourself in media, like whatever it is that you watch or listen to. But now it's everywhere. So there is a chance that people who aren't paying attention suddenly see, oh, wow, he looks bad. I should vote for the other guy.
On the other side, the other guy very famously is he's right now a convicted criminal. He's had all these scandals over the course of his career, and his numbers are still high. So does that mean people don't care, or does it mean they don't really know anything about him or enough about him?
Both.
Combination of both?
Or, yeah.
Hey, speaking of cognitive issues, a new study from the New York Federal Reserve and Georgetown University has revealed what one of the signs of possible dementia could end up being. Amy, do you want to take a guess what it is? Actually, you already know, but pretend like you don't.
What is it, Ranj?
Well, it's a person's credit score.
What?
They have found that a person's credit score, on average, starts to weaken in the 5-year period ahead of a dementia diagnosis. And
it makes
think
sense.
About it, because there are mortgage delinquencies and payment delinquencies. People start to forget to make payments and things of that sort. So in the couple of years leading up to a diagnosis of dementia, a credit score might go down.
Makes sense. Very interesting. Although I will say always check your credit score because of the scams proliferating. And, oh, by the way, Ticketmaster revealed that 570 million users had their information compromised by hackers. So maybe we should all be checking our credit scores.
Some will say now that I am calling America a Christian nation. And so I am. And some will say that I am advocating Christian nationalism, and so I do.
That was Missouri Senator Josh Hawley speaking about Christianity, Christian nationalism specifically. And
this was at the National Conservatism Conference.
Yes. And let me say this. What frustrates me in this conversation about Christian nationalism is a lot of people don't exactly know what it is. And for those who don't identify it with Christianity in any way, see any manifestation, any expression of your Christianity in relation to your political principles as Christian nationalism, that is not true. Christian nationalism is not if you allow your Christian principles to shape your political beliefs. First and foremost, I'm a Christian. A lot of, all of my beliefs, my system of morality comes from the Bible, from Christianity. We know that the founders were not averse to biblical principles because our Constitution, our Declaration of Independence, our framework for democracy was based more than anything else on William Blackstone's commentaries on the laws of England, which were based on the Ten Commandments and certain principles, right? Okay. So it's okay to say that there's that background there. We know the civil rights movement, right, happened from the pulpits in a lot of ways, not solely because of Christianity, but Martin Luther King, he referenced his faith. So we know that allowing your faith to influence your politics is okay. What is wrong, and this is how sociologists Samuel Perry and Andrew Whitehead have defined Christian nationalism. It's a cultural framework that blurs distinctions between Christian identity and American identity, viewing the two as closely related and seeking to enhance and preserve their union. What it is Christian primacy, where you cannot tell the difference between being an American and being a Christian. That's wrong. That's Christian nationalism.
That's the problem that people who are not Christians or people who are Christians and don't like this aggressive language, that's the problem with it, is that, yes, we might have close to 70% of the country that identifies as being a Christian, which includes Protestants, Catholics. That's all under the Christian umbrella. And that's great. But as a country, we decided a long time ago, we acknowledged that not everybody is going to be Christian. So yes, as a politician, it can inform some of your decisions or what your beliefs are or what your morals are. Fine. That's perfectly fine. But this is not and should not be what he seems to be advocating as a country. We should not be a Christian nationalist country. Well, that's not good for anybody.
And he should know better. He's not a dumb man. Josh Hawley is very smart. And if he is saying, for him to say I'm calling for Christian nationalism, it's either shocking or it's implying that he has no idea what Christian nationalism is.
Let me ask this question. He's speaking to a conservative crowd. He knows who he's talking to. Is this just him trying to placate the crowd in front of him? And if so, he can't be ignorant of the fact that it's being recorded.
Mm-hmm. That's what I mean.
That it's that he knows it's going to be out there, that he's not just speaking to the conservatives in front of him. He is talking to the country because whatever he says there is public. So I agree with you. He is a very smart person. And there are some things that he has done that I actually like. I like how aggressive he's been with Coldwater Creek and with the nuclear contamination in St. Louis and the efforts in Congress to get those people who are affected by it protected. That is decidedly a good thing that he has done. This is bad.
Yeah. And again, and I think there's another author. He's at Georgetown, I believe, but he has written a book on this because I get it. I mean, I was homeschooled, I was raised Christian, and I read extensively about our founders, not just the big name founding fathers, but different parts of the founding of America and how deeply rooted faith was, right? I mean, look at the Pilgrims, right? And how they were fleeing religious persecution and were seeking to honor God. So I 100% get that there's a lot of Christian faith in our nation's history. And it's very different than Christian nationalism, which is like Christian supremacy, that all non-Christians are second-class citizens.
Right.
And it's worth a longer conversation because you may say, well, I'm a Christian and I let that influence my beliefs. That doesn't mean you're a Christian nationalist.
Yeah.
That's different than Christian supremacy.
What you're supposed to say is, I'm a Christian. That informs my beliefs and my decisions. You may do it differently, though. That's what being an American is supposed to be all about. Bob Menendez, our guy, senator out of New Jersey,
Gold
who is
Bar
in the
Bob?
midst. Gold Bar Bob, the Democrat out of New Jersey, is in the midst of a bribery trial, and today continue the closing arguments against him. We're going to see what happens with him, but he should absolutely be out of the Senate.
Yeah.
He absolutely should be gone. And hopefully, if he's convicted here, and it looks, I mean, based on the evidence that we've seen, I can't imagine they come back with a different verdict. He's got to be gone. He has to either step down or they have to find a way to get him out.
Yeah, so and Scott McFarland said, I mean, this is a big deal. I mean, it's a senator involved in this scheme, which is, it's wrong, it's illegal, it's corrupt, and good on the Justice Department to continue to look into this.
Yeah, apparently he bribed a New Jersey businessman who, or he was bribed by a New Jersey businessman who gave him gold.
Which he stuck in his pockets.
And cash.
Which he stuck in his pockets.
You know how heavy gold is?
Right?
And I don't think we're talking about like the big gold bars that you would rob the train to get. Those little ones, but still, that's heavy.
Yeah. Oh, that's not. They're pretty big. Hey, before we go, I've been watching a new Netflix series called Sprint.
Yes. Is it about the phone service?
When people think about speed, think about 100.
On your marks.
As soon as the gun goes off,
Set.
it's showtime.
And it has been really good. I think it's a perfect lead up to the Olympics in just a couple of weeks. Opening ceremonies on July 26th, my birthday, because I love the Olympics. I'm so excited. We've got quite a few area Olympians, but Sprint focuses specifically on the 100-meter dash, and American Noah Lyles, who is a massive personality, and his effort to become the fastest man on earth. It also follows Sha'Carri Richardson. And I will say this. I had a couple friends who are runners. Like Sha'Carri, you know, she's a lot, right? Like it's a big personality. And I know a lot of times, you know, it's like she had during the World Championships, like waist length, long green hair and everything, you know, this personality. And they go, I don't know if that's my vibe. I go, listen to this. You have 10 seconds every 4 years to be remembered. Sha'Carri's got 10 seconds, right? And I know, like, she's known in the track and field world, but by the rest of the world, she's got to go for it, man. She goes, no one says you can't be sexy on the track. I don't know. It's fun.
We celebrated FloJo,
right.
And she had long nails, and they were elaborate.
Oh,
and
my gosh.
She looked, not everybody did that at the time.
No.
But we celebrated her, and we should have.
And so even if it's not your vibe, it's kind of cool that she's got...
Tell your doofus running friends to shut up.
And Noah Lyles, he's a brand. You don't even have to follow track and field. The kids these days know who Noah Lyles is.
Well, I'll tell you this about the opening ceremonies, July 26th. There's a much bigger thing happening on July 26th.
My birthday?
No, it's the Bears training camp opens up. Can't wait. Let's go.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Amy Marks Coors, Chris Ranji on KMOX.
Broadcasting from the Underlying Tree Lawyers, GetJim.com studios.
KMOX.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-403-5569 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-403-5569. That's 800-403-5569. What do you have to lose? Call 800-403-5569. Again, 800-403-5569.
Enjoy rounds of golf with friends this summer, courtesy of KMOX and Cutwater. Real cocktails perfectly mixed. Now through July 14th, head to your local Schnucks, Deerbergs, or liquor store. Look for the Cutwater display and scan the QR code to get entered for a chance to win 6 rounds of golf at area courses from Walters Golf Management. You and your friends could hit the links at courses like Gateway National Golf Links, Stonewolf, Far Oaks, and more. No purchase necessary. Open to Missouri residents 21 or older. Details and rules at KMOX.com/contests.
Stacy here from Fairwinds River's Edge, an award-winning independent living community in St. Charles. Voted Best Independent Living by U.S. News and World Report, we provide life-enhancing senior services to support your best self. In our active community for adults 55 plus, you'll cultivate connections in a community that feels like home. And for your first 3 months, we are offering 50% off rent. Apartments start at $39.95. Visit fairwindsriversedge.com to learn more.
For eligible individuals 18 and older only. Results vary. See website for details and important safety information.
How are your hearing aids sounding now?
A little tinny.
Okay, 2 seconds.
With Jabra Enhanced Select's premium package, better hearing doesn't happen in a doctor's office. It happens at home, all done remotely from initial testing to adjustments.
How are they sounding now?
Fantastic. So much better. You get the same advanced hearing aid technology and professional support you expect from a clinic at a fraction of the cost. And if you have any issues, we'll make adjustments 7 days a week, no charge. Oh, you people are wonderful. Our premium package includes hearing aids, 3 years of follow-up care, plus a 3-year warranty with loss and damage coverage, and a 100-day money-back guarantee. I hear better than I ever thought possible. Save $300 on Enhanced Select 500 hearing aids automatically at checkout. Just go to JabraEnhance.com/try. That's JABRA Enhance.com/try. JabraEnhance.com/try.
Your best friend deserves the best care. That's why your pet needs regular checkups and preventatives so they can keep running, playing, snuggling, and being part of your family. Your pet won't tell you when something is wrong, so the veterinarians at the Animal Medical Center of Mid-America are here to help. They provide comprehensive, compassionate care in a fear-free setting. Give your best friends the care they deserve. Go to amcma.org or 314-951-1534 to schedule a visit today.
You're in hot water, mister.
What'd I do?
I told you months ago our utility bills were getting higher because of that old outdated tank water heater.
Maybe it's time we finally switch to a Navien tankless.
Learn about Navien's high-efficiency tankless water heaters, endless hot water, all while helping you save on your energy costs.
Hey, look at this. Our utility bill is lower since we got the Navien tankless water heater.
Who's in hot water now?
We are, all the time.
Learn more at tanklessmadesimple.com.
Tune into the Home Improvement Show, sponsored by Mosby Building Arts, Saturdays 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KMOX for expert advice on remodeling, design, and construction. This live Q&A show begins at 11 a.m. or find podcasts at mosbybuildingarts.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends Mark and Neil Gelman from thegelmanteam.com. If you want immediate cash for your home or to see what your home is actually worth in today's market, find out for free from the local experts. That's my friends Mark and Neil Gelman at thegelmanteam.com.
A roller coaster ride of banter and brilliance. Chris and Amy on KMOX.
I'm very important. I have many leather-bound books, and my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Gonna find my baby.
You know what today is, Amy? It's July 9th.
Yeah.
Tuesday. You know what? 2024. You know what this is?
National Hot Dog Day.
No, dude. What the? No.
John Denver's birthday.
Okay. Just all right. Let me go ahead and tell you because you don't know.
Your toilet paper arrived.
It did, but that's not
the
thing I'm going to get to.
Okay.
Today, 20 years ago today, Anchorman came out. Anchorman was released in theaters 20 years ago. I can't handle that. That's one of those baseball manager gets hired younger than you moments where you're like, oh my God, I am really old.
Mm-hmm.
And then Anchorman is 20 years old. Let me tell you that I like the movie Anchorman, but I can't watch it anymore because it's been 20 years now of people reciting the lines over and over and over and over again, like that whole thing about the rich mahogany. I've heard that 700 times. I've seen the movie twice. So that's how bad it is that people latch on to certain movie quotes. And I got to tell you, that's one of the most quotable in my entire lifetime. There are probably a dozen from that movie that people keep saying over and over again, though it's died off a bit.
Yeah.
But 20 years, man, that's a long time.
You know what's crazy? The slightly different type of movie, but you know The Princess Diaries with Anne Hathaway?
Yes.
Yeah. So Mason Jar's daughter, Clara Jar, was watching that. She's 15, right? Likes The Princess Diaries. I said, this movie holds up. That movie came out 23 years ago. 23 years ago. And I looked at the release date, August 3rd, 2001. It was the month before September 11th.
Oh, yeah.
And I remember when The Princess Diaries came out, that was a pre-September 11th world.
Remember when we had Jay on from Jay and Silent Bob? We had Jay on the show, and I told him that I saw his movie the night before 9/11 happened. I saw his movie. I went to bed. I woke up. 9/11 happened.
Wow. Oh my gosh, what did he say to that?
He's like, oh, well, that's
like, what are you supposed to say to
it's
that?
True. That's exactly what happened. Congratulations, Jeff in St. Louis. Won tickets for REO Speedwagon and Train July 16th at Hollywood Casino Amphitheater. We have more tickets to give away every day for the rest of the week, and we will do that. Tomorrow's going to be a shorter show. We're done at 11:50 for Cardinals pregame.
We've got Ozzie Smith.
That's right. Ozzie Smith will join us at 11. We have tomorrow a split doubleheader. The Cardinals rained out tonight, so they'll play Kansas City twice tomorrow. Thanks to our guests. Thanks to you for listening. We will talk to you tomorrow. Amy Marks Kors, Chris Ranji, back with you at 10 o'clock on Wednesday on KMOX.
I would boo you for sure.
Yeah, fine. And I would say, great. I don't like you anyway.
Hi, this is Kevin Wheeler, and I want to tell you about the 213 Flashpoint Complex,